mi kwela. Mi kwale shi trafi wa. Mi kwale shi chomi ode tua. Awe ho ane vemienu lo. Mizu homeless. Yesu. Vemienu pa mepe. Ow.
What? Look at bro's face, please. Look at. Hey. What? Hey. Look at this house, Odai. Look at this mansion. Was she able to even pack her things? Eh? Oh, this is a river. This is now a river. This is a river. Look at this house. This is.
We don't want what has happened at Akosombo to happen to us in Accra. The Akosombo spillage, even though VRA, NADMO, the Water Resources Commission came together to educate the people in the community, did simulation exercises with them even at Mepe. Yet they refused to leave. They didn't want to be evacuated. They stayed there till the end when we started spilling. Unfortunately, look at what is happening. And government has to spend millions of money on relief items, on education. The whole area, the water is contaminated. And what Ghana Water and Water Resources Commission would have to spend money, millions of money to treat the water before we can pass it through our pipes. So a stitch in time saves nine. But sometimes it's difficult to accept the situation. But
so VRA has been carrying out dredging operations at the estuary over the past years. And our dredger is now aged. So there was a strategy to contract the dredging activity to a private company. VRA went through all the processes and was able to select a company. However, when they came in, I think the community had a misconception about what the operations were going to be. So there was an injunction placed on the dredging activities, which went to court and then later was resolved. In fact,
no dear in Bane, you're about to come within 2 weeks. Like I work for Então a se school como school viola wa como aí de school apeneni You all agree with me that Akosombo Dam is one of the biggest legacy this country, our Ghana. It generates almost 1,200 megawatts of electricity for the nation. And it comes to a point where it's overflowing and needs to be discharged to the downstream. And this is what has come out of it. This is a result of that.
I've said it, and I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
And I understand that, but nevertheless, I don't think that anywhere in the world that people go into teaching expecting to become millionaires and make money. If you want to do that, you do other things. If you want to do teaching, it's because you want to make a contribution to the welfare of the society and its growth, and you've done that very, very well. Na fenso sono ekufiolo I mean yesha seba kakrakra atokujo no ye MP wo me man be ye minister or be deputy minister you need to say when you say enam so be sha say bibi amamo ekufi na anko actually election for by a year no free all. Nanu nyina ka ho bi na kakra mi tumi akasa mi me kakra so free. Man kan no kra na nye. Ba. Yeso so mo be matije mo kan. Ebe yeah, afi so safi na shase. No wa ko si afi ne wie ti ebe de be. Na o le no so mate. What's it?
That
na fenso no ekufiolo I mean yesha seba kakrakra atokujo no ye MP wo me man be ye minister or be deputy minister you need to say when you say enam so be sha say bibi amamo ekufi na anko actually election for by a year no free all. Nanu nyina ka ho bi na kakra mi tumi akasa me kakra so free. Man kan no kra na nye. Ba. Yeso so mo be matije mo kan. Ebe yeah, afi so safi na shase. No wa ko si afi ne wie ti ebe de be. Na o le no so mate. What's it?
That we make sure that happens. We've put in place a very first-class economic management team. I would even say world-class, because the Minister of Finance, the very known Wall Street banker, investment banker, really high achiever. The former Minister of Finance, who is deputy vice chair of the economic management team, Yao Safo-Mafu, he was voted at one time the best finance minister in Africa by the World Economic Forum, and many others. They're just a solid, capable group of individuals who have come together to manage the team. And we meet every week without fail. And so we have a laser-eyed focus on the economy, and we are taking decisions and making sure we monitor what is going on.
I would want all of us here to, and on behalf of my colleagues, say a very big thank you to the type of leadership the EMT has enjoyed from Dr. Bawumia. A chairman who is so involved in the work of he works like a member, like a secretary. It's sterling quality, professionally excellent. So we are where we are because Dr. Bawumia is putting up a very professional chairmanship to the EMT. And I pray that we continue to work together as a team.
Currencies depreciate when the fundamentals are wrong.
Right.
And
the mismanagement of this economy in terms of the fundamentals is what was driving the depreciation of the currency. You can't be running double-digit deficits, double-digit current account and fiscal deficits, borrowing to this extent, financing your deficit with huge printing of money from the central bank, and expect your currency to be stable. The fundamentals will not support it. They will not support
for a bailout. Well, the president says it's policy credibility, not a bailout. What should go in there? Because along the line with your predictions and the lectures you gave, you said that if things don't go well, that is where we might have to go. If we're going for a bailout, what are we asking for?
Well, I think I did make the point, I think, in my last major lecture in Ghana, that if the government doesn't take certain decisions, we will end up with a request for a bailout from the IMF. And this is exactly what has happened. Mismanagement has consequences. Bad policies have consequences. And Ghana is going to...
around saying that our manifesto promises are going to ruin the economy. I'm just so baffled. You, a president, you have presided in 8 years over the collapse of our economy. If you knew the plan that could work for the economy and be successful, why haven't you implemented that plan in 8 years? Why? If you know what can work for our economy, why is the economy collapsing in your hands after 8 years? You clearly do not understand the economic plans and underpinning the MPP manifesto. So your task is to make our economy work. You cannot do it, and now you want to say the MPP plan cannot work. You have essentially no legs to stand on in saying the MPP plan cannot work, because your own plan has collapsed the economy, and we are bringing a new plan for the economy, and a new plan that will work. It will work. We reduced taxes during our tenure of office. Corporate taxes were brought down from 32% to 25%. And at the same time, we saw a major increase in tax revenue.
How can government be seeking to contract this magnitude of non-concessional loans at this time when it does not have enough cash to meet statutory payments? This is like an alcoholic who has just been convinced to enter rehab, and just a few days before rehab, ask for a carton of whiskey. Can this person be trusted to keep or to stay with the rehab program? Undertaking this additional borrow would mean that the anchor is not likely to hold, and it would compromise the objective of fiscal consolidation and debt sustainability. Given Ghana's economic situation, this bailout program will require a commitment to fiscal discipline that will test the resolve of any government in any developing country, such as ours. And it is important that the government understands what it has signed up for. We should all be prepared for some painful adjustments. To give legal backing to the process of fiscal consolidation, the government is likely to be required by the IMF to pass a fiscal responsibility law. A fiscal responsibility law will require governments to declare and commit to a fiscal policy that can be monitored. It includes rules and provisions for transparency and sanctions. Mr. Chairman, in my lecture last year, and earlier in November 2013, when I delivered the Aliyu Mahama Memorial Lecture, I offered the same piece of advice to government, but the Minister of Finance responded that it was not necessary. Today, because it is the IMF offering the solution, the government response is that it is very necessary. Mr. Chairman, to prevent the runaway printing of money, by the central bank to finance the large deficits of government, the IMF is requiring that Bank of Ghana reduces its lending to government to zero by 2016. Zero. This means that in 2016, Bank of Ghana would not be allowed to lend even a peso to the government. During my lecture last year, I offered similar advice. I cautioned that the printing of money was too much. The bank responded that it wasn't the case. But today the IMF is offering the same solution, and they agree with it. Bless you. As the IMF has stated, government would be required to remove all subsidies on utilities and petroleum products. This will require, obviously, will cause a lot of hardships. The removal of subsidies will also mean a strict implementation of the automatic price adjustment formula for utilities and petroleum. I would like to urge the government to publish all the elements of the automatic price formula so that we can all monitor.
Mr. Chairman, so you see that agricultural output has also been on the decline, and this has been, and Ghana's food import bill has increased dramatically from $600 million in 2008 to $2.1 billion, and rice imports, for example, increased by 52% from 395,400 metric tons in 2008 to over 600,000 metric tons by 2015. It's important that we try to understand what the minister is saying. He said that out of the $1 million Eurobond, we just spent about 500 million and carried the remaining 500 million as buffer as we go into zero financing, so that when we have an uncovered auction, we are able to use the World Bank money, which we should have used entirely for domestic, to get into that policy, to ride on that policy. If you understand what exactly the minister is trying to say, what the minister has admitted is quite unbelievable. You go to the international capital market to borrow at 10.75% and decide to park those funds as idle funds in the Bank of Ghana or maybe in UBA, just in case you have an auction failure. So why borrow funds at such a high rate if you have no use for them? Why borrow funds at such a high rate if you have no use for them? It is very bad economic management, pure and simple. The government simply used the bond proceeds to finance its deficit rather than refinancing the debt as it said it would in the prospectus to the bond issue.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Well, it's Thursday and it's the 18th day of January 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. 8-year-old ghost receive leap. Auditor General uncovers. CBG receives 2.5 billion cedis fresh capital. Jospon Group signs MOU for carbon credits development. DBG injects 623 million cedis into private sector 2023. The Daily Searchlight. Akufo-Addo attacks economy of Ekunfi, travels to Davos to attend World Economic Forum. IGP commends police visibility unit for ensuring safety during Christmas. ECG voices out for safety, conscious of bush burning. Kojo Besi assaulted on University of Ghana campus. Documentary depicts Galamsey children swimming in mercury and engaging in labor, drugs, and prostitution. The Ghanaian Times. Crisis looms in prisons nationwide. Jails congested by 4,651 inmates as prison service backs proposed non-custodial sentence. President Akufo-Addo attends World Economic Forum and NAM conference. New app deployed to curb illegal timber exploitation. GRA chases Nana Kwame Bediako for tax evasion. Daily Guide. NDC gurus swear blood oath with sword. NAM1 trial judge threatens lawyers with prison. VIP host Chef Felatu. Judicial Service denies Bungalow sale. NDC suspends Hamid Gbewa. The New Crusading Guide. GRA chases Cheddar over personal income tax. Sidelining Haruna Idris was a terrible mistake. Judge Zinmako Nyako moves to unite all factions in Achiasi to break the 8. Adana Traditional Council declares Nene Alipue the 5th as chief of Luhuo. Kozi intensifies campaign in Adenta with commitment to education. Bawumia's incorruptibility makes him stand tall. The Insight. Ghana needs paradigm shift. CPP's Abu Sakara demands of our country's failed democracy. Transport fares to go up by 30% from January 22. I overlooked development in Ekunfi because you voted against Atukujo, Akufo-Addo. The rich gets richer while global poverty depends in decade of division. The Daily Statesman. 7 million Ghana cedis tax scandal rocks Cheddar. NDC cracks dipping over ill treatment of Haruna. Jospon targets $1 billion in carbon credit financing. Otumfuo hails IGP's leadership. The Metro Lens. cheddar in numerous tax evasion scandals. NDC executives hold swear to sacrifice firstborns if they sell out party in December 7 elections. Achim Ariniasi Development Association builds computer lab for MA school. Tamale Thermal, NDC's refusal to heed Kwesi Pratt's warning comes back to bite. Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana declares indefinite strike. Daily Post. Of physical and verbal violence against the NDC, it is going to be tit for tat. NDC leaders and supporters vow. Transport fares to go up by 30% from January 22. We don't need you in Ashanti region. NPP youth ban Wontumi for allegedly attacking Asantini. Election year projects are scams. Don't fall for them. Minority to Ghanaians. And that's about it for the front pages. We're back shortly.
MTN.
Discover the perfect blend of quality, modern elegance, and affordability with Kingdom Home Real Estate. At Kingdom Home Real Estate, we cater to both local and international clients, offering exceptional housing options in Ebri and Ekropon. Our properties are conveniently located, providing a tranquil atmosphere, top-notch security, and essential amenities such as electricity, water, and backup generators. Our strategic locations offer easy access to popular tourist destinations, all within a 30-minute drive from Accra. Visit us in Ekropon right after the Latte Junction, or in Ebri near the Ebri Girls Senior High School. Alternatively, you can reach us Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation, to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatment, like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the He.
On my long and stressful days, I long for the refreshing company of my favorite companion. Wow, my favorite. Tomato onions, maybe tomatoes. Hi. Oh, hello. Please, I need to know the drink you were enjoying earlier at the shop. Sure. Even on Sundays in the markets, nothing is for one.
Makuma Swaji.
Guess what I brought? A refreshing companion for you and I.
My favorite.
Angel Drinks. Nyamepe, Nyawenejehu.
This advert is FDA approved.
Everything 12 January, I copy say about Afcon every year. My Afcon and Soja call. I won't feel Hisense TV, Amcom TV, and a sound system. Yatiso say who? A Hisense Afcon double promo. The best you Afcon beer. I love Afcon beer. Can clear our Hisense and the Afcon TV so. Sadamla Yedida. Nasa commentary no so chagua. Tieni clear our Hisense sound system so. Bora Hisense showroom bia. Na ube usa ya TV and sound system so. Esan Afcon ninti. Sa uto adia wa Hisense ya. Wasumu Jones. Hisense nkuwa ma 5 years manufacturer defect warranty. Sa Afcon radio. Yama nijeno anya double. If you say Hisense mo hama mo. Hisense. Yede bona to football so. Esan football ninti. Hisense sheshe kakra wo ho.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
The biggest car center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadam Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nadam Autofix. Wukwainso nyonko papa.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Delivering prosperity in Africa calls for strong collaborations between African governments and business leaders where enablers of trade and growth are identified and built. Delivering prosperity in Africa calls for actionable and bankable policies that bring value addition to our vast resources. And because delivering prosperity in Africa matters, the Africa Prosperity Dialogues 2024 is themed Produce, Add Value, Trade. Join African heads of states and top business leaders from the 25th to the 27th of January at the Peduase Presidential Lodge, Ebri Hills, Eastern Region, Ghana. On the evening of the 26th of January, there will be the Africa Prosperity Champions Awards and Gala Dinner at the Kempinski Hotel, where African and global African leaders will be celebrated and awarded. Africa Prosperity Dialogues 2024, Delivering Prosperity in Africa.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have the Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC, Godwin Kujueduji Tamaklo. Good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
Right, also with me on the show this morning is the Director of Communications of the NPP, Richard Ayaba. Good morning, Richard.
Morning.
Right.
I haven't seen you since after a very powerful and moving 50th celebration.
Yes, good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Right, so imagine getting rewarded for doing something you already do every single day. Sounds good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Momo Season is about. There's something for everyone. Download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transactions to a merchant, either through the QR code or merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. Merchants are also not left out of the reward. Receive payments and win. Keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are we doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay and more points and win big this Momo Season. Visit momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh for your Momo for business account today. It's Momo Season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. And if you're thinking about getting the appropriate toothpaste that your kids would love, Kel Kids toothpaste flavored with strawberry that gives a perfect taste for kids and makes them develop a personal attitude and love for brushing their teeth always is what you actually need. Kel Kids toothpaste protects child's gum, prevents cavities, and makes the teeth strong and healthy with freshness all day. Kel Kids toothpaste is recommended for children between the ages of 2 and 6 and is a product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel Kids, happy smile. And you have difficulties enjoying the mansions of your labor because the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lifts and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lifts and Elevators at Sakuman or just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. when it comes to our health, God is the healer, but He does the healing through humans. And one way to cure ailments is through alternative medicine. And that's where Amen Alternative Medical Hospital comes in. It's one of the best alternative medicine hospitals in Ghana. So for all your health consultations, counseling, physiotherapy, and homeopathic medicine, Amen Alternative Medical Hospital has the best for you. It's the first to modernize herbal and homeopathy medicine in Ghana. They have the best medical practitioners from KNUST with the state-of-the-art medical equipment created for your need. The most obscure ailments can be diagnosed and taken care of. Amen Alternative Medical Hospital is at Klagon on the Lashibi Ashaman Road near the Underbridge. And they're open from Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can also reach them on 0207 229 505 or 0244 227 192 to book your appointments. Amen Alternative Medical Hospital, God is the healer. All right. So, Richard, on Tuesday, I actually received a document that detailed the NPP MPs who were going unopposed in your January 27 primaries. Yes. But after going through the list and, of course, having a discussion with a panel on that day, I got a text message from the General Secretary, Justin Kodia, and he informed me that there was an appellate process in place. And so the committee was going to meet on it yesterday. And it's only after yesterday that the final list would come out. And true to that, your party issued a statement yesterday, but it appears that it will not be the final list. Because going through the list, I see one where there's a court process. So it means that there's just one. So Kennedy can come.
Yes.
Yes, that is unresolved. Okay.
Yes. I think that, first of all, to wish your good viewers Good Morning Ghana a very happy new year. My brother Aduji, happy new year. And your good self, I think we'll celebrate you the rest of the year and wish you very good grace to do more. I think that the process has been fairly streamlined.
So I'm told that we have the process actually on tape. So let's watch it and then we'll get back to the discussion.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Today, the National Executive Committee of the New Patriotic Party, which is the third highest decision-making body of our party, and the body clothed with the power to coordinate and manage parliamentary primaries of our party, held its meeting. And as the chief spokesperson for the party, I'm to communicate to the rank and file of our party and the good people of Ghana about the decisions that have been taken by the National Executive Committee. As you are aware, the party conducted vetting in 21 vetting centers in 15 regions in our country. And the vetting committee made several recommendations to National Executive Committee. Per analysis of the outcome of the vetting, the various vetting centers, 373 men and women picked forms to contest as parliamentary candidates for us, the New Patriotic Party, in constituencies where we have sitting members of parliament. Per the recommendation by the vetting committee, out of the 373, 11 were disqualified, 326 were qualified, 2 were referred to NEC, 2 stepped down, 29 went unopposed. Incomplete form, we had 1. No appearance, we had 2, making it 373. But that was not the final decision by the party. There were some referrals to the National Appeals Committee established by the party based on the decision by the vetting committee. Today, the National Executive Committee took the report from the vetting committee and the National Appeals Committee and also took notice of some development after the vetting. So as it stands now, we have total number of 376 men and women who picked forms to contest. The new development is that we have 1 court case. The party has been served with a writ and also an application for interlocutory injunction with respect to Inshaeso. And for that matter, elections in Inshaeso constituency has been stand down until the court process has been addressed. For the number of people who have been disqualified from contesting in the primaries scheduled for 27 January are 17. Those who have been cleared to contest by the National Executive Committee are 325. Those who have stepped down are 3. Those who are going unopposed are 30. So in all, we have 376. The details will be made available through the press release the National Party will issue any moment from now. The National Executive Committee also talked about Martha pending in Sunyani East. As you may recall, the High Court annulled the album of Sunyani East constituency. So today, upon several deliberations by the National Executive Committee and in our attempt to ensure peace and stability in Sunyani East constituency, the National Executive Committee has directed that the constituency album that existed in 2018, which has the polling station executives, is the album that we are going to use in this current dispensation. And where people have died or people have traveled, the National Party, in consultation with the regional party and the committee that has been established, will do elections in those vacant positions. Again, the National Executive Committee shall appoint people to act as acting electoral area coordinators and acting constituency executive to further notice. Finally, I'll go back to the Inshaeso constituency that I made a statement that the party has received a writ of sermon and application for interlocutory injunction with respect to Mr. Kennedy Kwesi Kankam, and the party legal team will respond accordingly in due course. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, so you just watched the General Secretary of the MPP taking us through the issues, Mr. Justin Kodua. And so, just for purposes of what the facts are, for those who are running unopposed or going unopposed in Ashanti region, for the Krofum constituency, Alex Blankson is going unopposed. And then Yawose Duchum Busumtri unopposed. Nana Uefriye Efidjasi unopposed. John Ampotua Kuma Ejisu unopposed. Isaac Yao Opoku Offensu South, unopposed. And then in the Bono region, we have Paul Aprekuchum Berima, Doma East, he's going unopposed. And then the Chiman South, Martin Kwekwe J. Mensa, that's Bono East, Martin Kwekwe J. Mensa Kosa, unopposed. Alexander Jan Kintampo South, unopposed. Alexander Afenyoma King, this is Central Region, Efutu, unopposed. Still in the Central Region, Upper Denchira East, Festus Ewua Kofi, unopposed. John and Tim Forjuasin South, unopposed. And then you go to the Eastern Region, Akimoda, Alexander Kwesiakwa, unopposed. Still in the Eastern Region, Abetifi Brian Echampon, unopposed. Upper West Akim Adom Frederick Obing, unopposed. New Drabin South, Michael Ochiribefi, unopposed. And then you come to the Greater Accra region, I also West Wogon, Lady Assyria Malhassan, unopposed. Okankwe South, Dakwa Newman, unopposed. Okankwe Central, Patrick Yabuama, unopposed. And then Northeast, Unyo Liwal Oscar, unopposed. Yagaba Kubori Yusuf Mustafa, that's a sports minister, right? Unopposed. And then Chireponi Tahidu Abdul Razak, unopposed. Bembela Dominic Nitiwu, unopposed. Tatali Sanguli Mbomba Thomas, unopposed. Gushegu Alasan Tampuli, unopposed. Tolon Idrisu Habib, unopposed. Karaga Mohamed Amin Adam, unopposed. Damongo Samuel Abdullah Jinapo, unopposed. Binduri Abanga Abdullah, unopposed. Lambusi Bright Baligi, unopposed. Nandom Ambrose Derry, unopposed. Hohoi, that's Volta. John Peter Meu, unopposed. And then Western North, Seshia Kontombra, John Obua, Alex Tete, unopposed. So these are the candidates who will be running unopposed in the primary. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yes, 29, 30, 31. So that is 31. Yes, 31 will be running unopposed. And I tried to look out for what's the name of the constituency of the second deputy speaker?
Fomena, yeah.
Fomena. Okay. So I've been looking for Fomena. And I can't find Fomena. What's happening to Fomena?
I need to check because nothing came up for discussion about Fomena. That's an interesting one, but I'm sure. We can proceed, but I think I'll check for you, but I'm not sure. In all the discussions, I don't think I recall anything about
There's no Fomena?
No. No, so... Yeah, so yeah, Fomena won't be here. So it's deemed an orphan constituency.
But orphan constituencies have been done already.
Yes, so that's how come.
But you didn't have primaries in Formula.
Yes. So it means there's another system. but in terms of design,
Will he be deemed to have crossed carpet?
Right. That would be the risk you run, right? But then.
Politics. Anyway.
No, but because of by design of where he stands and his particular standing as an independent, he won't feature in all this. And then, if anything at all, primaries would have been part of the
ordinarily it should have been orphan.
Yes, it's orphan. Yes,
but of course, if you do orphan, it will be without him.
Yes.
Which means that then he will not be the party's candidate in the next election.
Yes. So that one is not up for discussion here. So yes, so it would have, it's not here just family because it would have been part of the orphan arrangement. Yeah, but I think that
what Randy is saying is that if it's part of the orphan constituency, orphan elections have been done already.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
But why are we discussing orphan when we have this one before?
Oh, that's a special case.
They are orphans and they are bastards.
So this one is a bastard constituency. Understand that?
That one is off TV conversation. But yesterday I want to commend the national chairman of the party, the general secretary, His Excellency the Vice President was there. All our regional chairmen were there, national executives were there. It was a very spirited discussion. Through it all, you saw people were committed to trying to do right, to see that fairness was given a chance and democracy truly was upheld yesterday. I want to really commend the General Secretary for shepherding the conversation yesterday. It was one discussion that we thought would finish quickly. The media also, let me commend them. They stayed there for the period, and I want to commend them also. But in all, I think that democracy had a chance yesterday, and in the end, I think about some 15 or so people ended up being disqualified. Their cases were discussed very thoroughly, with strong argument, justifications, and the conclusion unanimous on their disqualification with reasons that were compelling. So I would say that it was a good conversation yesterday, and this list appears to be one that is had fair and balanced examination. So I wish those MPs and candidates who are qualified to contest, and then those unfortunately who are disqualified, to take heart, to understand what the challenges were with their application, and take their feedback on board and try to revise their positions. There's always a chance for them to contest again, and so they can prepare themselves for the opportunity that may come down the line. In all, what we're all trying to do is to serve our people, and if we don't get a chance to serve in front, we can get a chance or exercise a chance ourselves to serve with the people in any capacity that we can determine useful for society and the constituency. There is plenty of opportunity to serve, so let nobody be disheartened by the outcome if the 15 people that has been disqualified. They should take heart and work hard for the party and for their constituency to bring the best outcome for the New Patriotic Party in the 2024 election. We are determined to win, and I think that we need everyone participating and working hard to ensure that that outcome is realized. Senior, you talked about the one situation in Nhyɛ, so I think that that's a matter that will unfold in due course. There's some issue there to do with the candidate, Kennedy Kankam. I think that, there's a rule that was issued intentionally to create and sanitize the working environment for district, or more or less the MCs, DCs, and then the MPs, such that there is no conflict and that they can work together to advance the interests of the constituency or municipalities where they work. And so if you are a DC or an MMDC who is interested in contesting for Member of Parliament on the party's ticket, you do the party a favor or the constituency a favor to resign your position ahead of time. And that if you fail to do that, then you stop yourself from contesting in the primaries. And so the issue that came up with Kennedy, he is an MC for Asokore, is it Asokore Mampo, I think, and Asawasi. And so the challenge there with him was to say, yes, he fits the description as an MMDC at the time, or even currently, and so he is not by that rule qualified to contest. But the caveat for him is that he is for a different constituency, different from what he wants to contest for. So he's not a DC or municipal chief executive for Ishaiso.
But what was the directive? Was it for all MMDCs or MMDCs who desire to contest in constituencies that are situated in the MMDAs that they head? Yeah, so the rule was not specific that way. It only say, and the assumption of that, you will naturally imagine that it's here. You understand? If we are talking in this studio and you say, well, if you are in the studio, don't scream. The assumption is that you are referring to this studio, but not every studio, you know, in that sense. Maybe somebody is being a bit, maybe somebody is being too technical. And because the matter is in court, we'll leave it at that.
Exactly. So
but the truth of the matter is that, I mean, anyway, let me leave it.
So the thinking, we will not delve into that, but the general situation there is that just because it falls within the provision of that rule, he is not qualified to contest, even though it's a different
So area. The position of the party was that he was not qualified.
So
at the initial vetting, the position was that to the extent that he did not resign, he wasn't qualified.
So that was not decided. It was referred rather to the appeals committee.
And before the appeals were here, he went to court.
Yes, and is an individual who went to court. He himself didn't go to court. As a polling station officer, I understand, who went to court with the matter. So the situation, I guess, as you said, we'll leave it at that. But I just wanted to provide some frame for people to begin to understand.
The election is next week.
Yes. Yeah, so I think if you listen to the General Secretary, so that one has been set aside. Pending the resolution of the court case.
All right.
So 27th in Shaiso will not necessarily be part unless processes advance such that the issue is resolved.
All right.
Andy, you know one of your mentees is contesting. Collins.
Which one?
Collins.
Abdumaku.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was going to run on opposed.
So Collins is contesting on the same day. So I think you have to do the needful.
What are you talking
We'll
about?
try. We will try. We'll try.
You have to do the needful, you know.
We'll try.
Because he's hot. So you need to do your spiritual works for him.
I think you have too much view into our affairs.
There's a saying in Ghana, Bokusani.
Okay. Energy.
Yeah.
So, what is the thing there? I can't think they say.
So Collins is contesting, and I believe that he served the MPP well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of your very good.
I think. And, no, generally, you know, I think this will be controversial for me to say, but I think it's important. I think that, generally speaking, I think my expectation is that all our MPs will return, who are on the ballot will return.
You mean the sitting MPs?
The sitting MPs. That's my expectation. And I think that going forward, we need to be very clear about these things. You know, Parliament is an institution. It's not like a studio. Even in a studio, right? Even in any line of work, you need experience, especially with Parliament where it is.
But experience is not longevity. But you see, I think one of the things I've realized in this country is that we substitute experience for longevity. Somebody could have been at something for 50 years.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, and yet their output will not suggest that 50 years has been of any value.
Yes. No, I totally agree with you.
I recall, incidentally, there was a time that Bryce Simon had questioned the economic management modeling, and Gabi posted that, you remember
the combined
that the combined age of all these individuals is about
disastrous combination. Let's move on. Let's focus.
That's
on
fine.
Energy is just bent on creating trouble this morning.
No, I just wanted to situate the conversation well.
I hear you. But yes. Certainly, taking your point into account, but it's a critical factor of experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that for how long you are there, if you apply yourself, then naturally you are supposed to have that. So my expectation is that we'll return.
I feel for MPs.
Yes.
And and it's a general statement I'm making.
Yeah.
This issue of incumbents and they being allowed to stay on and all that, it's a very interesting issue. For many of these persons, when they were trying to go to Parliament, those they tried to unseat had the same position on the matter.
Yes.
However, the bigger picture for me, really, is that I think that the constitutional arrangement does not bode well for the kind of parliament that the framers of our constitution envisaged, and for what us as a people in this country require, a very assertive, parliament. I'm not talking about a combative parliament.
Yeah, right.
Or a destructive parliament, but an assertive parliament.
Yeah.
A parliament that will keep the executive on its toes.
What parliament was that? The parliament to J.H. Mensah, Felix Japan.
You're talking about the
97 parliament.
Yes.
What number was that? That would
it
be
was
the,
small.
there
was 60 something.
But that would be the second second parliament.
Second in the Fourth Republic.
Yes. That was a solid parliament. So that's the example you're looking for.
I'm looking at a parliament that will really keep the executive on its toes. I think that by arrangements, especially the 78, where majority of ministers must come from Parliament, I believe, and it's a belief I've held, and I still have not had any opinion to change that it's helped to weaken Parliament. Because you have people who are part of the executive. And then they come, and so you will realize that,
is not clear.
Yeah, you realize that the executive itself takes Parliament for granted, to be honest with you. How they send things to Parliament, when they decide to send things to Parliament, when we say, and we sometimes take some of these things as a joke, when voluminous documents are sent and they have to sit up to 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. and all that. If Parliament were assertive, they would not accept some of these things, and the executive will do things much better. And you have people also trying to catch the eye of the executive just because of that thing. And by implication, there are many people who are going, not because they seek to pursue a career in Parliament, or they're interested in working in the legislative arm of government per se, but it's because it enhances your chances of going to the executive, because the law says that majority must come from Parliament. If you put that aside, the issue of the accountability of MMDCs. Now, an MP does not control the purse. The MMDCs, to a large extent, do at that level. Yet, because of the way they are appointed, they are not accountable to the people in those jurisdictions. They're rather accountable to the appointing authority. So, there are many areas where they do not even know who the MC or DC or whoever is. They don't know. And they hold a member of Parliament responsible because it's the one who comes to them for votes. And I find that very unfair. Very unfair. But I can also understand the people. You are the only person who comes for votes.
Yes,
so you are the only
you are the
person
one
we
who
can
knows.
also, yes. You know, so there are quite a lot of these arrangements that I think that if we tidied up, it could make, because it is in our interest that we have a parliament that is very assertive and can hold the executive to account and to order.
Yeah, I think you're talking about one that keeps the lines, you know, clear, that we know the executive is on this hand, the legislature is on this hand, the judiciary is on. We want to have visibility of the arms, that they are autonomous to whatever extent they are, or they ought to be, that nobody sees them working in concert, except that it's on matters that we have consensus. I think I agree with you, but we will have to make that decision to repeal, I think 78, to ensure that presidents have their team independent of parliament. So then you have people going to parliament who want to build a career, then it becomes an institution where going there is a serious business. You just don't go there because you want to, but you go there because you have a certain output to make, and that is done a lot of places, a lot of good, because then you have people who have institutional memory, they understand the practice. Parliament is strong. Parliament can engage the executive. It puts everybody on its toes. So when you're going there as an executive with a proposal for any consideration, you know you must go with all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. I think it's a good conversation, but what we have is what we...
I mean, look at even how ministers treat urgent questions in Parliament.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about now.
Yeah.
Over the period.
There's familiarity, and it is where they work every day as MPs, it's where they work every day as ministers. So when you are there, that familiarity takes precedent. But I think that our parliaments have not been bad, to be... They've not been bad at all. What you are saying, and what I think, I believe, and I agree with you ultimately, is that if we have that clear separation in terms of you're an MP, then that's where you work. If you are in the executive, that's where you work. So that the partnership is mutual, it is based on consensus, it's based on agreement and meeting of minds. So we are moving forward because this works, not as though that we are one and the same, and when I come here, we talk about the same thing, we go here, just do that. I think in those terms is something that we can probably try and promote, but ultimately we'll have to take an amendment of the Constitution. But what it is now, in our Parliament, because of, on our side, because of the 18 individuals who have decided not to run, and from the top, very heavy lifters who have decided to hang their tools this early. I think that somebody like Osei Mensah-Bonsu has lots of mileage in him to go. Honorable Joe Wise has a lot of mileage in him to go. Atache has a lot of mileage in him to go. But somehow they've come to a point. I can only hope that even on the sidelines, they can find a way through maybe consultancy, through many different ways, to feed back into the resource pool that Parliament will need to function and function well. And that's where I am concerned about our MPs returning, because then at base level, you have people who are exposed to the practice in Parliament. They have general understanding of how Parliament works, and so it gives some stability and balance for the party after we have gotten about 60 or 70% of the seats that NDC stole from us back. Then you have those senior people mentoring the new ones that would add up when our majority of 180 or so MPs come back in 2025. So my thinking is that the delegates will take that on board, whilst everybody who is qualified to contest a sitting MP is justified to do so in democratic terms. I think that our delegates should be a bit more rational and look at where the party sits and look at where our parliament is and return those senior people so they can lead the charge for us in 2025. I think that's the message I want to communicate. Thank you.
So I guess that in mentioning the the persons that are going unopposed, I think I missed a constituency in the Eastern region.
Okay.
That should be.
Or you mentioned Alexander Kusiakwa, you mentioned him?
I think Sami Oku's place.
Well, Sami necessarily, he belongs to the other batch.
They are orphans.
They're technically orphan, yeah.
Because the lady shifted.
Yes, yeah.
So you won't find his name here?
No, not here, yeah.
Yes. Okay. But then a source is telling me that it's obvious Kennedy Kankam qualifies, and that is generally the position taken by NEC yesterday at the meeting. So the party's lawyers have been instructed to go and set aside the injunction application, which is clearly unmeritorious.
Right. Now, so by reading of the rule that was issued, everybody's understanding is that it applies to the particular space. So he is a special case to the extent that he is moving from a place.
Because then the spirit behind that directive was that the MMDCs undermined sitting MPs.
Exactly.
So if the person were not in a position to undermine the sitting
MP, he
how
wouldn't necessarily.
That would not be against the spirit of the legislation.
Essentially, what the rule was seeking to achieve, he doesn't violate. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How do you?
Boss. Yes, that's MPP matter, their internal issues. I was praying that at least there will be a few more skirmishes. So let's see what happened after the 27th.
Okay.
How they resolve their internal challenges. I want, if it's possible, the cracks to deepen. Yes.
Why would you want that?
Why wouldn't I?
Because I'm sitting here restraining myself from talking about the very wide.
Better menu.
If that's something, better menu. Hello.
So I'm being charitable.
Help me out of this confusion. Help me out of this confusion. Ghana Private Road Transport Union of TUC Ghana. 20% upward adjustment on the transport fares. At a national management meeting held at the Trades Union House on 16 January 2024, it was resolved that transport fares be adjusted upwards by 20% across all loading points of the union effective 24 January 2024. This has become necessary as a result of excessive taxes on spare parts, adversely affecting our operations due to hike in its prices. Further, the recent 10% increment of insurance premium is also having a negative effect on our operations, while the condition of our road network remains deplorable. On the foregoing, we cannot break even if the present transport fares is maintained. We are therefore compelled under the prevailing circumstances to increase our fares by 20% to mitigate against collapse of our business. We take this opportunity to call on the general public to bear with us. In a related development, the Ministry of Transport has issued this, signed by the Public Relations Unit to all press houses, purported increase in public transport fares. The Ministry has cited publications in the media by commercial road transport operators purporting an increase in public transport fares in the country effective Wednesday, January 24, 2024. We wish to inform the general public that there has not been any negotiation with the transport operators for a review of the transport fares. We therefore urge the general public to disregard the purported increase. When it becomes necessary for such negotiations and decisions are taken, the general public will be appropriately informed, as has been done in the past. The ministry will continue to ensure fair and reasonable public transport fares, keeping in mind the needs of transport operators and the general public. Now, listen to the transport operators. They say it's become necessary as a result of excessive taxes on spare parts, adversely affecting the operations. Further, the recent 10% increment of insurance premium is also having a negative effect on the operations. They say they cannot break even if the present fares are maintained. Are we waiting to have confusion like we had sometime last year over these issues once again?
I think that with due respect to GPITU, I think that they should just adhere to what works. There's a system in place to address some of these things, and they've been used over time. I think they should address themselves to it and then use those channels, because this conversation, I understood, is as a result of a general meeting they've had amongst themselves. But they have not engaged their primary stakeholder, which is the ministry, to agree or dialogue about their proposal to increase. Because the ministry sits in the middle to try and, manage the impact on Ghanaians and generally on the public, and to also see that they are also not being shortchanged as far as their business is concerned.
Can we balance the scale by also raising the issue of government also taking decisions that have a direct impact on the operations, on the bottom line of these operators, and not consulting them or taking into cognizance the fact that these decisions of government would have this impact on transporters. Therefore, there ought to be a certain level of engagement.
Yeah.
Because if you're a transporter and you decided to go and, or your insurance is due and you're going to renew, the VAT, which has been placed on insurance, which hitherto was not there, hits you directly.
Right. It
hits you directly, impacts on your bottom line.
Right. Yeah, so that's understandable. But I see that consultation is there through a parliament, right? Because then we're all constituents across the country in different constituencies. So once the engagement with our parliament approves a certain law, it's assumed by design that yes, that's our collective approval. So on that end, I think we'll satisfy that. But then on the basis of their increment or reduction, they have a framework that they use to arrive at those increments. And I think that they need to engage that. I don't think that the ministry will be averse to meeting with them to hear their interests and their concerns. The only thing I see in this case is they haven't engaged.
Richard, my problem here, my issue here is that the budget was read in November. So we've heard from, if they were not even consulted pre-budget, between the budget and now, we've had over a month, knowing very well that once the budget is approved, this will be the repercussions. Once the ministry is issuing those directives and all that, we ought to engage, because we know that when we come to the negotiation, these are the
issues.
Yes, these are the benchmarks. These are the issues that are looked at in adjusting.
Yeah.
So fuel prices is one, spare parts is the other. I mean, the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
And so somebody ought to have reasonably, realized that, look, once ABCD
has
happened, we need to engage so we can have a smooth transition.
Right.
And last year, we had all those ugly experiences where we saw passengers and transport operators fighting and all manner of things.
Yeah. On account of what you have suggested, I agree with you. So principally, the consultation has been done broadly. The law is passed. Yes, we are deemed to have been consulted. But in terms of operationalizing the law that results from that consultation, then maybe the specific agencies must engage. So that's why I would suggest that maybe the Ministry of Transport should not just stop here at issuing this letter. They should be calling for a meeting ASAP this morning.
So I thought I would see a paragraph that says that, because you see, it is not fake.
Yes.
The ministry itself acknowledges that the GPRTU, which is a key stakeholder, has issued a statement.
Yes.
So this one should be telling us that they have requested for a meeting today to deal with the issue.
Exactly.
But it's just disregard.
Yeah. So this won't suffice. The ministry must act. I'm sure they are doing that. Except that they didn't find space here to put it, but certainly they would have to act in that manner to avert any chaos in that space. Because once they have issued this letter, a product of a general meeting, then it means there's a meeting of mind amongst the transport operators to say that we want to do this revision upward. And so the ministry must take the initiative as the convener of these meetings to have a conversation focused on the interest of the public, Ghanaian people, and accounting for the business or interest of the transport operators to reach some understanding that will be appreciated by all.
Yes, Randy, if you look at the letter from GPRTU itself, GPRTU provides the basis for the increases or what the adjustment they want to do. And if you read from paragraph 2, it says that this has become necessary as a result of excessive taxes on spare parts, adversely affecting our operations due to hikes in its prices. 2, the 10% increase in insurance premium is also having a negative effect on our operations while the condition of our road remain deplorable. I mean, these are circumstances that the Akufo-Addo administration had brought onto Ghanaians. And the impact is what GPRTU is basically trying to mitigate. And you see, Randy, there is no end in sight. Beyond the lack of foresight in how to manage the fallout of the draconian tax policies of this government, it is also the case that this government has not managed the affairs of this republic well. The fiduciary responsibility given to the president and his vice, now the MPP presidential candidate, they have not managed the affairs of this country well. And it is that mismanagement, brazen wastage, the pervasive corruption, that is what has brought all of us to the point where today, if you are having to renew your insurance engagement, you need to pay 10% on the premium. Randy, that's the bottom line. 2, the GPRTU is saying that there had been too much taxes on spare parts. First, the cedi is today doing almost 12 point something Ghana cedi for $1. And because these spare parts are brought into the country, you need to get your dollar to go and buy them. And so once the exchange rate has been poorly managed, the bottom line is that they have to pass all the foreign differential losses to the ultimate consumer. And the consumers of these papers are the owners of these cars, the trotros, private car owners, among other things. And so they are basically passing on government's incompetence to Ghanaians. And that's the issue.
But Edgy, the GPRTU itself is aware of the processes through which transport fares are fixed. They have not told us that, for example, they have written to, they've tried to get meetings with, there's a certain coordinating council or something, in order to bring this up for them to have these things. It was last year in December that we heard of they talking about even 40%, 60% and all that. Yes, true, maybe somebody did engage them, but did they also activate the process, the known process for fixing transport fares?
So you see, Randy, some of these issues about the increment, among other things, are not things that are written by law.
Yeah.
What they have done, by way of convention or norm, they try to engage duty bearers to see. So that, for instance, duty bearers may end up telling them that, oh, instead of 20%, kindly do 10% or something. That's somebody's responsibility.
Yeah.
Randy, that person is not you and I.
Yes.
That person is somebody that is paid to do this work. Like you rightly pointed out, the budget was read in November. in the November budget statement, these rafts of taxes were announced. And so it was just rational that somebody will be proactive. Now, the union leaders do not have the benefit of waiting. It may well be that government believes that the more we delay in engaging them, the better it is for us. And so maybe took the decision to do what they are doing. And so the transport union are saying that no, we are seeing a certain level of inertia from your end. So we have taken. On this basis, you can now come to the table. In any case, they are called Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Government actually cannot impose transport fares on them. What government has been doing over the period is to beg them, negotiate that, okay, instead of doing 20%, can you do 15% for us? At least to cushion the suffering masses of this country.
But that process has worked for all of us.
Beneficial.
Yes.
But I'm saying that whose responsibility is it to ensure that that process is adhered to? Duty bearers.
True.
And they went to sleep. And so what we, the users of these services, should recognize is that they have made life unbearable for us. And you see, Randy, the issue is that these transport owners, they don't only just run the trotro. They are the ones that transport major food items from the farming communities to the city centers, among others. And once this 20% is allowed, effectively what they will do is to pass on to the price of food items and other items that they transport. And that becomes the danger for the ordinary Ghanaian. So it should not be an issue that, oh, the purported increase in transport fares should be disregarded. That government of Ghana...
I don't think anybody said that.
No, but
the statement.
But effectively, that's what the statement... He said, we wish to inform the general public there has not been any negotiation, blah, blah, blah. Yes. We therefore to disregard...
the general public to disregard it.
Well,
that's what they are saying that we should disregard. You are not the owner of the car.
No,
No. You see.
But there's a time-tested regime.
No, but you see
for determining
No,
prices.
but you see, there is no legal consequence.
But we've accepted that.
No, you are not getting it. No, right. Please, you calm down. Whether normative or whatever, the point is that if the driver decides today to increase his fare, I need that service now. And he's saying that before I can take you from here to this other point, I'm taking 20 Ghana cedis. Now you say, oh, Aban and disregard it. Would Aban transport you? Definitely not. So I'm saying that I think you should be conceding that the people...
But nobody said anything to
No, so hold on. So I am saying that the people whose responsibility to be proactive are sleeping. And while they are sleeping,
I don't think that's a fair.
and while they are sleeping, the people who are the end stage of their misconduct by way of mismanagement have gone ahead. So what do? Issuing a statement that we should disregard does not resolve the problem. How is that difficult?
We know. So I will expose you a little bit. But you see, we know he would host the program, right? And we came here before him. We sat here patiently and waited for him to come. That's what we understood would work. That's how we know it works here. So we operate by that. So even though we came early, we cannot go and sit there and say, oh, we are here, he's not here, so let's host the program amongst ourselves. We can't do that, right? So there's a system that works that the GPRTU is aware of. So granted that, okay, well, the ministry hasn't initiated a conversation, which we are not privy to if that was the case. Or they are trying to have a meeting and that meeting is not happening and probably GPRTU is forcing for a meeting and the ministry is not sitting. We don't know if that happened. But to issue a letter outside of the process that we all know, because you as a citizen, I as a citizen, count on that conversation, that dialogue to arrive at an increment that is mutually beneficial. But this is, in the nature of it, in light of the ministry's question, you can see that this revision upward is unilateral. Okay? To what extent does it take into account the citizen? Who is their customer? Right? Because they can increase the price if people, for some reason, they find alternatives and won't take your total. What happens? They are not in business. So this dialogue process is useful for them.
Are the transporters also not behaving like the government? That also took a unilateral decision.
Exactly.
And the government knowing very well that we have a certain process, we have a certain forum.
Yeah.
You know, where we deal with these things. That look, we ought to engage.
That's right. Yeah. So that's the consensus must be, okay, that yes, the ministry must exercise leadership. They must not stop at this letter. If I were them, I wouldn't have issued this letter. You call them and have a conversation. But then they have issued this letter to let passengers know that that position is not applicable. What you have said rightly, they haven't indicated here, but I'm sure they are going to do, is not to stop at this letter, but then start a conversation to regularize what increase is going to be. If it's going to be 20, it's going to be 50, it's going to be 10, it's not going to be there at all, so that the public understands, okay, that this is the position. Because now we have two letters, one saying another countering that. So let's have a position that is consensus between the two, that the citizens can rest their hearts on, so we can move forward. That for me is the end of the conversation. These other elements, hold on, Richard. You are wearing white and you are introducing it. It's very unholy. Very unholy.
You and I would have to go to Aflao. We go to Tudu, where we get our Aflao's car. You get there and the driver says, from here to Aflao now is 150. Then you are going to tell him that
no, you show him. No, you show him. You show him
yeah, you show him. And so
ministry every day.
I mean, like seriously,
you can be diabolic.
No, but Randy, that's what it is.
So the letter is your currency.
Yeah, that you right there, no.
Ministry every day disregard the increase.
No.
Can you imagine?
No.
Richard.
So Energy, I swear, this thing just leave it be. It's a straightforward matter.
No.
The ministry. No.
This, you see, Richard. I am saying that when you become a duty bearer, the responsibility on you. It's not one that requires the kind of thing that we are seeing. The budget was read in November. You knew that this was going to, and you see, the GPRU started warning. Yeah. Not now. Yeah. That was somebody's responsibility. You went to sleep.
Energy. You remember what you said when you were sitting here, that you sometimes you fear yourself.
We'll be back shortly.
Can you take your advice?
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security goat to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ampadu.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hassan.
How is business doing?
My business is collapsing.
Why is your business collapsing?
I sold my products and services to my clients on credit, and my debtors are not paying their debt.
Have you heard of Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company operating in all the 16 regions of Ghana?
Not at all.
Mr. Ampadu, all you need to do is to contact them on their customer service line. I recommend Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company to financial institutions, businessmen and businesswomen, other companies, and also individuals. Rosic Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rosic Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Over 18 years in business, Appointed Time Printing Limited has delivered quality service to some of Ghana's well-known brands. With our equipment capacity, we are able to deliver 1,500 pieces of polo and t-shirts in 1 hour. This is only possible with us. For retailers and wholesalers, we offer for sale high-quality polo shirts and t-shirts in different colors at affordable prices. We have a one-stop shop for all creative designs and billboards, 3D signages, flexi banners, car branding, stickers and posters. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Appointed Time GH. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is a
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Mommy.
Michelle, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Have you been to Aqua Safari lately? Let me share my experience with you at the new Aqua Safari Resort. When you arrive, you're greeted by warm smiles and introduced to your 24-hour butler who already has your itinerary sorted. Enjoy water sports activities like jet ski rides, kayaking, water sliding, flyboarding, and castnet fishing. You can even have your lunch here on the boat cruise. Experience horseback riding, tennis, and some golfing amongst a host of other activities. Let the tour guides take you through the sceneries of the Volta River, the mangrove forest, the friendliness of the animals, local and exotic birds, while you pet and feed them. You can have this large space for your conferences, corporate retreats, and so many activities as part of the package. We chose to have our breakfast with a beautiful sunrise right in front of our cabin. We had an amazing experience and I can't wait to return for more.
Visit Aqua Safari Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show, I have Godwin Eduji Tamaklo and Richard Ahiagba. But what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, as God the Mullah, God the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority and it's not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. And Ayesoko, Betway's cash out just go way better. The enhanced daily partial and auto cash out feature lets you cash your bets out early, cash out a portion of your ongoing bets, or even set your bets to cash out automatically. All this to give you way more control over every thrilling bet you place. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana and it's not for persons under the age of 18. Betway gets way more. And the natural absorptive property of charcoal helps to remove the bacteria that produces bad breath in the mouth, hence giving you a fresh breath. Kel Charcoal toothpaste has been formulated and produced under strict hygienic conditions with all the necessary production protocols and has been approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Constant use of Kel Charcoal toothpaste gives you a good fresh breath, whiter teeth, reduces dental plaque, makes the gum healthy and strong, prevents cavity, upset stomach, hangover, and so on. Kel Charcoal toothpaste is recommended for adults and children from 6 years. Kel Charcoal toothpaste for white teeth and fresh breath all day long. And this is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Kel Charcoal toothpaste, happy smile. And are you ready for something refreshing, great tasting with excellent flavors? Then drink Angel Cola, your key to enjoyment. So whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you go, you've got varieties to choose from. Angel Orange for that special occasion, Angel Mango. Angel Peach, refresh your mood. Angel Apple Lime. Angel Drinks produce vitality and maintain fluid in normal balance. Angel Drinks, refreshing, invigorating, and exciting. Angel Drinks are produced by Adonko Soft Drinks Beverages Limited. Angel Drinks taste like our day, and they're recommended for all, including children. You can reach Adonko Soft Drinks Beverages Limited on 0244 832286 and 050-7878-668. Terms and conditions apply. And Kingdom Home Real Estate provides quality but affordable housing facilities for sale. Their facilities are located at the serene environment of Ekuapeme Krupon and a brew with the best weather condition. They're 30 minutes drive from Accra and provide a modern touch of comfort. They also provide high standard security service plus CCTV, standby generators, constant water supply, and electricity. The properties are surrounded by lovely tourist sites such as the Bree Botanical Garden, Oti Falls, Safari Valley Resort, etc. All you need to do is to pay 70% upfront and spread the remaining 30% over a 2-year period with no interest payment at all. So locate the Bree properties close to a Bree Girls School and the Krupon properties right after Latte Junction. You can reach them on 0559 761 144 0555 621 611. You can also visit their website www.kingdomhomerealestate.com or their Facebook page. All right. So, Eduji, We're told that we've reached an agreement with the external creditors, i.e. the Paris Club and China, according to our finance minister. An MOU has been prepared, but it's been giving snippets of some of the things that are yet to come. We have not seen what the MOU is and what exactly the terms are. Parliament is yet to see that. We're yet to be told that. But the finance minister, in some interviews, has dropped some hints as to what is going to come. And we are told that this is part 2. Part 1 was the domestic. This is part 2. There's a part 3, which has to do with the Eurobond holders, which is also yet to come. I'm told that that is also what to open up 3 for us. Now, I don't know what you make of what we've seen, but generally it is about rescheduling, so postponement of our today's problems to tomorrow, you know. And then in the wake of all that, we're also having some serious increments or imposition of taxes, especially indirect taxes on all manner of things. I'm sure that you've also heard about the electricity one, which is supposed to take effect from January. There are other ones that have also come up. But whilst we wait for the details, at least we have something to talk about.
Randy, so what I did was immediately it was announced by the finance ministry itself that they appears to have reached a certain MOU, a certain understanding with the Paris Club of Creditors. They subsequently didn't give details, but I have subsequently gotten these details on the social handle of Dr. Tiwa Champong, where he provides some other details on Ghana's bilateral debt restructuring terms. He makes the point that the official creditors on debt payments would have to go through up to 2026. Now, we are also expected to reach a certain deal on Eurobond investors. Remember that that space alone, if you add the Franklin Templeton bonds, that brings it to $13 billion. Now, it's also the case that payments owed on the $5.4 billion of the bilateral obligation will be repaid in 2 tranches in 16 and 17 years' time. So debt payment from 2023, that's last year, and remember that the whole of last year we're not servicing our debts, will be repaid in 2039. Debts due and payable in 2024 now will be paid in 2040. Now, there has also been an exemption of $2.8 billion of bilateral obligation from debt service payment between 2023 and 2026. And so this is just a few of it. You know, Randy, there had been this conversation from our parliamentary group that the debt restructuring issues should be taken to Parliament for parliamentary approval. I see so much reasoning behind it, in the sense that the original loan agreements, right, were previous subjects of previous parliamentary approval. And you notice that the constitutional requirement is on the fact that the terms of the loan must be approved by the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. And the terms include when it should be repaid and the interest component. And so if you have a situation where a debt treatment arrangement to effectively alter the payment, and that's the tenor, and the interest component, then it requires that certain must go back for the representative of the people should have an idea. And you would notice that even from the brief that we have, some of these debts have been rescheduled for 16 and 17 years. 2039, and 2040, at which time the persons who contracted these obligations will not be there. And so you want to have a situation where the new terms agreed would have the input of the representatives of the people as far as Parliament is concerned. So, Randy, that is important. And I believe, or I associate with a school of thought that says that, look, at the end of the day, whatever agreement that we reach with these people should come back to Parliament for the necessary parliamentary approval or ratification, whichever resolves the problem. But you see, Randy, if you look at Ken Ofori-Attah's letter dated the 12th of December 2023, and this is what he says: as part of the implementation of the government's medium-term revenue strategy and the IMF supported post-COVID-19 program for economic growth, we have decided to impose VAT on electricity consumption, save lifeline consumers. Randy, what is not in doubt is that in Ghana today, and with further education, a lifeline consumer basically purchases between 22 Ghana cedis and 30 Ghana cedis a month.
Yes.
So the only people who are exempted from this VAT on electricity are persons who consume between 22 Ghana cedis and 30 Ghana cedis.
Up to 30 cedis a month.
A month. Now, Randy.
And that's by virtue of the fact that the government changed the lifeline
from
50 to 30.
Yes.
So it now included 31 to 50, who constitutes a majority of the 1.7 million people who were either two in the 1 to 50.
Absolutely. Thanks for this further clarification. And so the point is that this is a tax handle that is effectively going to affect the generality of our people. And you notice that even the concept of lifeline is supposed to apply to persons who ordinarily were living in compound houses. So they share the bill. And so maybe there are 6 people and the bill is, say, 100 Ghana or 200. So the 6 will share. That brings them to maybe 30, 20 Ghana cedi of electricity consumption. And the idea is that this is somebody who has basically maybe a bulb or a fan.
In fact, they can only, people who live in compound houses can only be classified as lifeline if each apartment or room has its own meter.
Yes.
Immediately, there's just one meter.
Shared meter.
And all the consumption of all 5 or 6 goes into that meter. They go off, even when it was 50.
Yes.
So now it's even
bad.
Worse.
So
and in addition to this, they have also changed the band.
Exactly.
You know, apart from a lifeline, there was also a band.
Yes.
Of consumption that has also been recalibrated.
So Randy, we have a situation where this singular tax policy of government is going to affect people. Now, what is even bizarre is the fact that this is happening because of the IMF program. And if you recall, at the time when government on the 1st of July 2022 announced that they were going to go into the IMF program, we cautioned that this IMF program was going to impose additional burden on Ghanaians. That obviously didn't make sense to duty bearers at that time. Randy, what is also not in doubt is that between September 2022 right to now, we've been doing cumulatively almost 70-something% increase in tariff, electricity tariff. And so if you add the current imposition of value-added tax, which is almost 21 Ghana cedis, because that's 15 plus 1.
21.9%.
21.9, thank you. So you notice that if you add the already 72% plus this 21-something%, we are basically doing increase in tax on total electricity consumption beyond 100%.
In fact, what's happened to electricity, especially for residential consumers is that the first thing that happened was the reclassification of Lifeline.
Yes.
Then, 2, the reclassification of the bands. Then 3, the quarterly adjustments of the tariff. And then now you have VAT on domestic consumption of electricity. So these are the 4 key things.
And you see, Randy, if this imposition of tax is something that is just limited to even electricity consumption, that puts it even differently. Today, as we speak, and if you look at the raft of taxes that were imposed by reason of the 2024 budget statement, we are looking at a situation where even newspapers, textbooks, and this is a government that in 3 years had failed to supply textbooks to schools. And so when parents would have to go outside to get books for their walls, government is taxing them on it. I have never seen this kind of situation. And the worst of it, and which I have always spoken against, is the idea of, taxing sanitary pads. Because you see, if you look...
I mean, well, now insurance policies are being taxed.
Yes.
It is not about the insurance companies paying their corporate tax and others.
No.
For you, who's taking the insurance for your property or your vehicle, you're expected to pay VAT.
And if you recall, that is what even the GPITU
one of the reasons
too.
Yes.
That is one of the reasons why, and it's 10% on whatever it is that they are paying on. And so if you...
I'm sure that they were referring to comprehensive. Third party. Yes.
Third party.
Yes.
So
on comprehensive on anything, if you have a building and you've insured your building against burglary, fire, and others, you're expected to pay VAT. You're comprehensive, you're expected to pay VAT. Third party, you're paying VAT. Any insurance policy that you take to insure your property, or even anyone which is even statutory. For example, if you have a commercial building, by law you are supposed to insure. You will have to pay VAT on top of that.
And you see, Randy, is there any end in sight? And in the words of Bawumia, would the anchor hold in the midst of an IMF program? Definitely not. Randy, can you imagine that in the 2024 budget statement, our finance minister proposes to spend 226 billion Ghana cedis. That's what he's proposing to spend this election year. Now, of this, he says that his projected revenue outturn for 2024 is 176 billion Ghana cedis. Now, so if you have a situation where your total expenditure for the year is 226 billion, and your revenue is just 176 billion, then the question is, how are you going to, as it were, balance this budget borrowing? And so today, government of Ghana is in position to borrow no less than 50 billion Ghana cedis to close the deficit. Rather, is it not curious that the government that went to Parliament and passed the Fiscal Responsibility Act, from the time of its passage to date, has not been able to achieve the statutory 5% fiscal deficit? We have not. The worst of it is that in the year 2020, by reason solely of reckless election expenditure, the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia administration did 15% budget deficit, the highest since 1992. And the record available suggests that this is not money that were used in productive activities, simply election expenditure. And you can note, if you note the 2024 budget outturn, you notice that Office of Government Machinery alone for 2024 is doing 2.5 billion Ghana cedis. That's the combined total of everything spent by John Mahama as President of the Republic of Ghana in the 4 years of his tenure as President. So you ask yourself, A government that is telling the people that the economy is bad. And so we find a situation where we have what we call burden sharing. This government must demonstrate austerity in its public expenditure. But at the time when you say the economy is down, that is when you have increased the amount of money coming to your office. Mr. President, it doesn't make sense. It puts you in a position of a father who is telling his children that there's no money at home. The children say, Daddy, we hear you. Every evening before he sleeps, he will do bread and egg. And the children are watching him. What kind of father are you? One would have expected that Mr. Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia in this particular year would demonstrate that, look, we are going to burden share. At the time when you are telling your citizens that tighten your belt hook and that things are not going well, tighten your belt. You don't even have a belt hook. You don't. And so the bottom line is that as for this tax on VAT, we are going to the
VAT on electricity.
the VAT on the electricity, we are going on the street. And you see, it's even curious. And sometimes the point is, either our president suffers a certain lapse. Look, this is a man who went on demonstration against the introduction of value-added tax.
Okay, so it says it was against the
percentage.
Yes.
But at that point, if you listen to Kunedu Apreku and Co., they were in principle opposed to the value-added taxes.
If you read the Hansard.
Yes, the Hansard shows that they were opposed to the VAT itself. It was not a question of only percentage.
No, I was talking about the demonstration.
No, but you see, the principal speaker then for the minority was Kunedu Apreku. And I'm saying that the Hansard shows that the opposition was not only about the rates, but even the tax itself. And the conversation at that time by Mr. Akufo-Addo was that, Ghanaians are suffering. And so there was no need. Richard, how do you respond to the claim that you wanted to move the economy from taxation to production?
Okay,
in the midst of this raft of over 40 taxes that you have imposed on Ghanaians. So Randy, so
I thought you say you...
yes,
you respond.
This government had gotten more tax revenue than all administration.
Yes.
But it is difficult for this administration to tell us that this is your taxes, this is what we have used it for. We have used it for Terminal 3. We have used it for this.
How?
I wanted to know.
But don't you drive around the country?
And what is happening?
You see things.
What? Randy.
So all the projects that I've stalled, you see them.
To whom much is given?
Yeah, that's a different conversation.
That's the point I'm putting forward.
Okay.
When was the last time you went to OT? And where did you go to?
Now, what do you want to say about OT? I was in Kwanta not long ago.
Okay.
One of your chiefs is in the studio.
About which of the roads are you the one who constructed? Which one?
The Pepeso Road. You didn't see that one.
And you constructed it.
Okay. Did you see it or you didn't see it?
Are you the one who constructed it?
Did you construct it? You see, the thing about it is that we brought a very simple question for us to address. But Edwiji, wearing white today, decides to act almost like, I don't know what to say, but...
by virtue of my spectacles, I see it as cream. So he intentionally didn't wear the white.
So that he can have the diabolics be present.
Yeah.
It's very
telling Ghanaian the truth cannot be diabolical.
You see, everything Edwiji has said. I wanted to ask a question. The restructuring, the external debt restructuring situation, he mentioned about Parliament would have to have a say on it. Now,
they raised it.
They raised
that the whole thing needed to.
Yeah.
It was a DDP.
Yes.
They thought that it should come to
Parliament. Right. But that's something that is arguable, right? Because those external debt, for example, per Article 181, you have a situation where Parliament has given consent for those debt to be entered into. Now, in reprofiling those debt. You are seeking for a second look. I'm not sure if it can be seen as new.
People can make technical legal arguments. This is how I take it, and sometimes I like to look at the spirit of the law. Now, there's a reason why the framers of a constitution ask for some decisions to be taken by the representatives of the people. Now, if you're going to do something like what we're doing, and the kind of impact and effect that is going to have on this country, don't we think that we ought to have a forum that goes beyond just a portion of the executive dealing with this issue? Because of the implications that it has.
Yeah, so I agree with that in principle, but then
we are taking loans and we say that, oh, some of these loans will be repaid within 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Obviously, they have implications. We are imposing things on the state. We ought to know. Now, these things were approved with a certain tenor and all those things. Now we go to change them completely, and therefore the implications become different. How do we then say that, as for those ones, we shouldn't have the same level of scrutiny?
So I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying that whether or not it's binding and required.
That can be another argument.
Yes, so that's really what I'm saying. But for purposes of daylight,
even transparency.
For purposes of daylight, if they want to bring it, then that's fine. But you see, Edwigi, the 2017, 2018, 2019, you had an economy growing on average 7%. Then 2020, in fact, that economy attained, by IMF's own rating, the fastest growing, amongst the fastest growing in the world. And then in 2020, you had a global pandemic on whose back the economy faltered. And so you had your economy retracting from that high 6.5 in 2019 to about 0.5% in 2020. You got some relief built back in 2021, about 5.36 in 2021. And then in 2022, you have another global incident, though it's between two countries, has global effect. Russia-Ukraine happened, disrupted global supply chain, impacted cost of living, energy costs skyrocketed, and therefore created consequences, economic consequences for the entire globe, not only Ghana. That puts you in a certain situation, and as a country, you have to go to seek support from the IMF. That is brought about some policy consequence on you. I want to ask Edwigi, though you made a factually incorrect statement earlier to say that you guys cautioned the government against going to the IMF. That's factually not correct. From the outset, you, the NDC, were the ones saying that, oh, go to IMF, go to IMF, go to IMF.
No, you are not getting the point.
No,
I got it.
You effectively said that you cautioned us and we didn't listen. Okay? So inherently, you're saying that you cautioned us against IMF, which is factually incorrect. Now, what would you do? Okay? You are thrust into a situation. Which situation inherently is beyond your control. By design, your economy was on a path of growth. Then you are encountered with this headwind. That then derailed all the gains that you've made. And I'm yet to be convinced by anybody to say that Ghana's economy would have grown or retracted in 2020 if all factors were held constant. That obtained in 2019 and in 2018 and 2017. If all those factors were held constant, I'm yet to be convinced by the NDC to say that our economy would have retracted in 2020.
That doesn't happen in any economy.
I'm saying yes, but I'm saying that. So then in that sense, then you account for what happened in 2020, which then
your competence is tested, demonstrated, and appreciated in abnormal times.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. See, so
yes.
so what you are saying almost is that because you are what is called.
See, I didn't want to. We've gone back and forth on this issue of the performance of the economy before, so that's what I don't.
Well,
I don't want
those
to
numbers
go
are not arguable.
Into, yes,
okay?
I don't want to go into.
They are not. They are not. Okay.
How can you isolate?
If they are if they are arguable, then it means all our numbers are arguable, are subject to debate
No, you
from
see,
day one.
our issue really has to do with our debt situation.
No, but I'm saying
it is.
Yeah, so
we're only doing debt restructuring because of our debt.
No, see that. So just hold on for 1 second.
That in spite of all the things that the central bank did for this economy,
yes,
we still had to go and do a debt restructuring. But the problem that we refuse to acknowledge is the unsustainable debt pattern that we had established and which was clear by 2019.
But serious, no.
That's the issue.
No.
It's not the issue of we're growing at A and growing at B.
But growing at A actually
we are on
deals with
an IMF program, Chief. We are on an IMF program because of our unsustainable, our debilitating debt situation.
No.
It is what it is.
No. So I agree with you. You can make that
argument.
argument.
It's the interest payment. We couldn't pay.
No, but
that's why we declared default.
In what situation were we not able to pay the debt? We paid our debt in 2017, in 2018, 2019, 2020 we got into a headwind.
Yes.
That headwind created a situation which brought about that unsustainability that you're talking about.
We because get the revenues.
Yeah, but no, it's not about revenues. You see, to take revenue is a product, it's a function of production.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So in 2020, with the economy growing at 5.5%, essentially means that your economy, you didn't produce.
No, but you forget,
right?
you forget that your projections for 2020, you made them in 2019. You forgot it.
No, you see, so when you are just looking at the revenue angle, right, you won't get how much of that revenue comes from production, right?
You should tell me.
Yes. So I'm saying that you have essentially lost production in that 2020, and it takes a period. I agree with you, but it takes a period to recover from an economy that went from 6.5% to 0.5%. If you don't appreciate that, okay, then you will make the point to say that.
I'm not saying that is not an issue. I am not saying.
Yes. So if that is an issue, how do we address that issue?
I am telling you that the reason why we have suffered and are suffering more than many other people also affected by all the things that you speak about. It's because of our unsustainable debt accumulation trajectory. That is the problem. And even as at 2019, the signs were there. We have the problem that we have as against other countries because of our debt situation.
So we've always had debt situations. Okay?
But not at these levels.
No, but you see, unless you are able
not
to...
Not at these levels.
Martini, I agree with you.
Never in our history, Richard, never in our history,
at
least in the last 40 years or so, has interest payment, not plus amortization, just interest payment, being the number one expenditure. But never.
It used to be salaries and...
never. Hold on. But you see, never in our history have we had COVID-19.
What did
never
in our
history
contribute to interest payment becoming number one? How did it?
But I'm telling you, it's a
yes. Before COVID came.
Yes.
No, I think you need to clarify.
Yes. No, Edwiji,
that
please,
interest payment and amortization was higher than salaries and statutory payment before COVID came. So explain that with the aid of diagrams.
So I'm.
He can't apply diagrams. Maybe with the aid of sign language.
Yes, maybe do that.
But you're just giving me an impossible situations to meet. But you know, so on balance, right?
Yes.
What we need to recognize is that certain catastrophic events have happened, and those events have led to a difficult situation with the economy. I will not agree. We can go back and forth. See, when we finish, let's go down to the bar and have a conversation about
bar.
It. No, the restaurant. thank you for bringing that to the restaurant.
Now if your acquisition is going to be affected.
I'm talking about the Age Cafe, so we can deal with the issue. Because what I want you to convince me with is to say that this economy has been mismanaged.
I can only convince you of it. So no. But we need to go.
Yes. Okay. So the point I want to make is that yes, certainly this economy we got into a headwind. We've gone over it. The economy is returning. We're seeing growth return. We're seeing the currency stabilize. You know, where we were in 2022, I think close of the year, the currency completely faltered. But now we are in a stable place. I think between February 2023 till now, it's just been depreciated just about 4%, 4.7%, around about that 5%. Inflation from a high of 54.1 in December 2022 is now down to about 23.2%. So there is macro stability is being gained, and the economy going forward, I believe that is going to get on a much stabler path. What I think that is necessary is the discipline that has brought us here, but I don't agree. Okay, when anytime the NDC, they have a case where they say, oh, government must be disciplined, must be, you know, must exercise austerity and all of these things. You know, government spending itself is part of fiscal policy to stimulate the economy. And so generally when we do those, we need to be specific on what items we are referring to that government must be austere, because part of policy to drive the economy forward includes government spending also to drive the economy.
Okay, we need to.
The last point I want to make.
Conversation with Minerals Commission this year is starting this morning.
Okay, yes. So just one small point. You know, on the VAT, I think electricity, VAT on electricity. I have a firm understanding that that may not necessarily apply because there's some practical constraints on ECG's side in implementing that policy. So I think
that's not what we want to hear.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, but
for government has decided not to implement it.
Well, that may be equal to that, but I'm just saying that the practical constraint will not. So consumers can rest assured and looking at their bills to see that it will not come on, so that the doom that Edwige is predicting.
But is Edwige the one who announced?
No, he's just dramatizing. He's dramatizing it.
Randy, just 30 seconds. You see, Randy, what's
when you go to a flower, you tell them that 22% of the electricity is nothing.
No, I didn't say it's nothing.
A workplace to slap your face.
Well, I didn't say it's nothing. I say it won't happen.
You say, Randy, 30 seconds.
May not happen. Yeah.
30 seconds. You see, if you are expecting something useful in this year, remember that the total amount government intends to spend is in excess of 200 billion. Government total revenue, even expected this year, is supposed to be 176.
Yes.
So even for business people who are thinking of even going to borrow to do their business, government is going to compete with them because government needs to.
But we've been running a deficit for a while. So.
Agreed. But what I'm saying is that quantum-wise, we need about 50 billion to close the gap this year. And so if you have that situation,
I mean, if you look at the the treasury bill market, you understand what's happening.
But you know how Edwige is behaving.
Yes.
Wearing white. I think black. I don't know what color they're going to wear.
I said
but he's sitting here acting like a fan in the stands.
He has decided to undermine my position. But you see, Randy, bottom line is that this raft of taxes are going to impose additional hardship on Ghanaians.
So the Honorable John Jinapro says that the external debt was approved by Parliament with terms and conditions. Now, if the government decides to vary the terms by deciding to extend the duration of repayment beyond the original tenure, I think Parliament must approve the new terms.
No, but I think that's an arguable position to say that it's not explicit. It's not a requirement. We haven't been here before. I'm not sure if we've been here before. So it can be.
You have done too many.
No. I'm just saying.
Okay. Somebody says I should ask you if we borrowed the unsustainable debt levels. If we borrowed because of COVID.
Anticipation.
Oh no, he's been testing me.
He's been testing you.
Yeah. He's been diabolical.
So he sent you the quotation. He says that you want to put tax on accommodation, yet you want to go to the bar.
We are not going to the bar. We are going to the restaurant.
So I've just been informed, and Kojo brought it to my attention that today is exactly 10 years since my friend and brother Komla Dumo passed.
Oh wow!
I've seen KOD and Co.
So the boss player, the boss player. We know you are in the bosom of the Lord, and so. Continue to rest in perfect peace. and of course to the family, the wife and the children.
It is well.
Yes.
Prof and co.
It's interesting how life just gets snapped out.
He's your constituent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My wife is also your constituent.
Yes. You see. This year, Ketusa will show NDC something small. We'll show NDC something small.
What is in the cup? What are you drinking?
I think that from here we can go to standards.
I don't want.
You can go to the bar.
No, standards.
To check.
Yeah, to check. From here we can move straight to standards.
So up next, our first conversation with the Minerals Commission, and their CEO is here with us in the studio. He can tell you about all what has happened at OT because he's a chief there. All right, so we'll be back shortly.
MTN. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Hey, give it to me! Hey, man! Stop! Enough you guys, continue!
Prepare yourself to unleash even more moolah by staking from 1 Ghana cedi to 350 Ghana cedis. And you could win 26 times your stake on the exciting new Pick 1 game from Game Park. Play by dialing *946# on all networks via our website or download the Game Park app on www.gameparkgames.com. Choose your Pick 1 number from 1 to 36. Place your stake and watch our live draws on Adum TV at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily.
Hey, live life like me with Game Park. Game Park, more moolah, more power.
This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And it's time to have our first conversation of the year about the extractive sector with the Minerals Commission of Ghana. And the CEO, Mr. Martin Eyisi, is here, as always, with me on the show. Good morning. And Happy New Year.
Same to you. And congratulations for being 50.
Thank you.
We hope there will be another 50 again so that perhaps you can rival Chief Imam. He's done 100, right?
That's what Chief Imam did. He's gone past 100.
He had some special gene, I believe.
Yes.
Such a wonderful man.
Well, today is the birthday of Dr. Sare Bediako Adams. He is the country director of the Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Dr. Sare Bediako Adams, country director, Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance. Right now, Matt, let's start with this. How did the Minerals Commission end the year 2023? So basically, your 2023 performance. How did you end the year?
If you ask
you obviously had targets.
Of course, the most important thing is that you do your budget.
Yes.
If your budget is 5 cedis and you do 5 cedis or more, then at least revenue-wise, you're on target. So we're able to do our budget.
You mean your projected revenue?
Yeah, our projected revenue.
Yeah.
We're able to do that. That's it. And then,
what about your work plan for the year? The things you had envisaged to do in the course of 2023.
We did more than
you had planned.
More than we had planned, and then perhaps that will make 2024
a bit easier.
Because some of the things that we were expecting to do in 2024, we started them in 2023 for some reason. So we are on course.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, is it correct that 2024 will mark a decade of the reforms in local content and local participation?
Yes, Randy. Yes. This January is essentially 10 years when the reform started. From as low as 8 items on the procurement list to 50.
50.
Yes. And then from $148 million to nearly $2 billion in 10 years. Today, as we speak, yesterday, the minister had a breakfast meeting with the Chamber of Mines. We met at Marriott, so just to compare notes and prepare for this year. It's something we do from time to time, so I was also there with him. And then if you look at the statistics, the data, and other things, it tells you we've come very far. So, for instance, when we look at the data for last year, 33% of the expenditures of the mining companies are spent on procurement and goods and services. 33% of the revenue from 33% of their revenue is spent on local content. 33%. Now, it's not every mining company that is a member of the chamber. So if you are, yeah, primarily the big ones, yes. I mean, it's freedom of association.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at the receipts for last year, for example, on their members, those who are their members, you're talking about $5.6 billion. 33% went to local content. So let me circle back to some of the one of the key areas I told you last year that as a nation, our policies, our strategies, practically all our energy should move towards that direction. One of them is local content. So if total receipts of government in 2022 is roughly about $1 billion when you put everything together, and then you have twice that being spent by the mining companies. There's 29 items because the 2022 report is on 29 items, not 50 we have now. So you can imagine when we start discussing the 2023 report sometime maybe in a month or two, because we are now going through that one. So here am I from where I sit, I'm saying that 33% of the expenditures of mining companies, 5.6 billion, was spent to procure goods and services on 29 items. Bear in mind, we are doing 50 now, as at 2022. And if it's about 2 billion, and that is twice the receipt of government. When you hear people saying, oh, your royalty is low, you should have been higher, you should have increased your taxes, then it tells you that they don't have the full grasp of the issues. So what does that tell you? It tells you that once we should recalibrate our policies and programs to make sure that we move from 33% to perhaps about 70%. You understand that? That's what we should do. So don't look at only revenue. Look at local content. That's why when the lithium debate started, we'll revisit that at another time. People just look at data in terms of what government gets and then the taxes, and then they say, oh, we are not doing too well. No. Here am I telling you that just 29 items, they spent $2 billion, twice what goes to government. And that is 33% of their revenue. Okay? What does that tell you? If you do more in terms of local content, if you get them to list more, if you put in policies and measures where many of the local inputs are made here rather than being imported, then it means that you just wake up one day, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, you realize that here you are, $3, $4, $5 billion is circulating within the local economy for the purchase of various goods and services, inputs they use at the mine. And remember, these are not holders of mining licenses to explore or mine. These are people who provide various support services. So these are the kind of information we need to put out there. That 2 billion went into local supplies as against 1 billion as direct revenues, okay, in various forms to the Republic. These are some of the things. By the way, small scale has picked up. I know, as usual, we are all concerned about the ecological nightmare, or what some people now call environmental genocide. So if you look at the data last year, about 1.1 million ounces officially left this country as production from small scale. Running, that's a little over $2 billion. An activity that is being carried out lawfully and unlawfully in 13 out of the 16 regions in Ghana. So that is that. By the time we do the reconciliation, we should be talking about 4 million ounces of gold last year. And if the average price of gold was roughly even 1900, the figure is as good as what anybody would think. And then another good news that came up yesterday was that we're trying to make Ghana the hub of support services in Ghana. If you take out South Africa, no other country regulates support services than Ghana. In other words, the various services the mining companies require to carry out the activities, whether it's contract mining, the various supplies, etc. The report is out. It was sponsored by the Chamber of Mines, and then I think they are reviewing it, how to position Ghana as a major service hub. And sometimes, look at Singapore. You know, it's a major, they have a major port because of their location that services that part of Asia. Yes. So you take explosives. It's over $100 billion industry.
Globally?
No, Ghana.
100 million?
Yes.
Okay.
My 2022 data shows that $101 million was spent by the mining companies for all kinds of explosives, detonators, etc. And it's going to go up because of the new mines that many of them will be commissioned this year. So you have companies that have set up here. They supply Burkina Faso. They supply Ivory Coast. Even they go as far as Guinea and Co. That's what I mean about Ghana becoming a hub. Do you understand that? So these are the kind of the little things that we need to do. And if we're able to do them well, running, give ourselves 5 years, you realize that once we are making, let's say, a receipt of 1 billion, I mean, that goes directly to government in various forms, withholding taxes, royalties, corporate tax, and co. People are spending 5 billion to provide various services. So that is it. So maybe one more example before we circle back to local content. There's a company in Chamba, I hope I got the pronunciation right, that do ceramics. Yes, over 4,000 workers, and then their annual turnover is 300 million. Yes.
300 million cedis.
Dollars.
Okay.
I think you've heard of Twyford.
Yes.
Kida.
Yes.
People use their tiles now.
Yes.
They are even doing sanitary works. I mean, bowls and all those things.
Yes.
Running, they use 5 minerals: limestone, clay, kaolin, tack. You understand that? As a raw material to make the ceramics. I think about 60% of their products are sold in Ghana. The others go as far as Peru, Guinea, and then the sub-region. When we say we want mining to benefit this country, Randy, that is the kind of thing we are talking about. So you see, these 5 minerals are now serving as a raw material for a whole industry to produce ceramics. And that is the kind of thing we are thinking when it comes to a ware, that we should have a ceramics industry, for example, in Salt Pond, to use a kaolin and clay to produce the various products we want to talk about. So that is it. So 10 years of local content. It's been very exciting. We've come a very long way. We still have a lot to do. I don't want to sit here and then feel proud and say, oh, $2 billion in local procurement as against $148 million 10 years ago. So we should be happy. No. Perhaps we should be doing 3-4 billion, and we should be able to move it from 33% to about 50 or more. That, consistently, many of the receipts that they get, they use on local content. Again, I think our gold reserves has gotten to about 19 tons. Okay, because of this role the mining companies are playing, because government, buys a lot of gold from them now, and then of course they also, give them the dollar, and then they give them the cedis. So these are some of the things that are going on. And if we don't come out and tell our story or give this public education, that's why I value this program. All that we know is that the companies are located in some bush somewhere. They dig the stuff, leave big holes, they take everything out, raw. As we speak, one of our key things we may perhaps have to celebrate this year is Ghana Manganese. Randy, do you know when we started mining manganese in Ghana? 1916.
16.
Yes, perhaps when Chief Imam was like a teenager, right? Because it's 100 years now. 1916. That's when we started producing manganese and shipping it out. For now, we have one mine, but there's a lot of exploration going on for manganese in Savannah, and it's looking very prospective. So 1916, let's work out the maths. How many years now? So
108.
84 plus 20. 103. So that is
108.
Yeah, 108 years.
Yes.
So for 100 years, we've been shipping manganese ore out, raw. The good news is that by the end of this month or so, we'll have their full feasibility now to refine manganese locally in Ghana. It's going to cost...
A full feasibility?
Yes, we've started working with them. By the end of this month, they'll submit a feasibility for us.
Okay, so the feasibility will determine whether...
That has been done. We've had that discussion over a year now. But for them to be able to give them the go-ahead and start, you need to base it on a report. So hopefully, we may see about $400 million being spent on a refinery to refine manganese ore. That will move the grade from 27 to 37. That's taken us 100
Explain
years.
That.
Oh, the minerals are found in an ore or rock, and it's at a certain grade. When you refine, you increase.
You add value.
You add value, and that will create about an additional 300 jobs. It will take roughly about 2 years to complete. They will start this year. It will be done within their current concession. So those things will stop going out.
Is that a company in the Western region?
Yes, that is in the Western region. And then guess what? What they are going to refine, they will also get the material that we need for the battery. Because manganese is a key component of the batteries that are used for this green thing we've been talking about. Lithium, cobalt, manganese, nickel, vanadium and coal. So to rehash, we have graphite exploration going on. It's looking very prospective in WA. We have lithium now. One of the most prospective areas is perhaps the entire central region. We have manganese now. So refining will not only produce manganese alloy, where we'll make more money, but also we're going to have the kind of grade that we need to do our battery mineral. So a lot of patience is required. It's taking us 100 years. That's why I keep saying that as a nation, we are not patient. But we should be also ashamed that it has taken us 100 years to start doing this thing. But nothing is late in life. So it's going to happen now. So that's what is going to happen to manganese. Bauxite, we are on course. So let's give ourselves 5 years. The kind of criticisms, the negative comment, legitimate, we get from Ghanaians that everything goes out raw will be a thing of the past. So these are some of the things that are happening in the mining space. So those who are reading chemical engineering or who are planning to read chemical engineering and metallurgy and perhaps chemistry, these are the opportunities now. So our brothers and sisters who are shying away from chemistry, metallurgical engineering, materials engineering, and chemical engineering, the future is bright. Because as these refineries pop up now, these are the kind of skill sets we will need. I'm sorry to say that it's not about sociology, it's not about, I'm not saying we don't need that, but you see, we will need to make a conscious effort to just promote the STEM. It's not everybody that loves this mass thing, I agree. But Randy, we cannot develop as a nation where when you take every 10 SSS student or maybe every 10 student or whatever, you have overwhelmingly 8, 9 doing, let's say, humanities. You can't develop as a nation like that. You should have more people doing mathematics, statistics, the physical sciences, and then what we don't respect and regard in this country, I hear they've changed the name, TVET. TVET. Yeah, those technical skills. And that is it. A company has just sent me some requirement that they want to employ maintenance engineers and co. And guess what? You know what they are looking for? Those who read automobile and those technical courses at Takoradi Technical Institute, Accra, Poly, now here University. And then the one in Kokomi, how do you call it? ATTC. ATTC, yeah. They are the people they are looking for. And it's very difficult to convince a Ghanaian that after high school, your son or daughter should go to Tema Technical Institute, Takoradi Technical Institute or ATT. But those are the people that we need them to work in the various workshops at the mine. So a lot has happened, a lot has happened in the local front, but we will need to do more. So by and large, these are some of the things that we went through in 2023, and then the plans for the next 1 year. So we're going to be hard on them. So 10 years of exciting times. Yes.
All right, so we'll get to some details, but let me do a small detour. I've seen something at Ghanaian Times, and Mineral Rights Applications Bulletin, Form 6. And I see 58 companies. What is it about?
Randy, typically this is what
So happens. I see serial number, name of applicant, address, type of mineral right, size, type of mineral, location, district / municipal region, date of application, map reference.
Yes. Now, this is what happens. If you look at the licensing regime, once somebody lodges an online application, the law requires that, one, once the Minerals Commission has done a preliminary review and it is satisfied that the person has provided all the supporting documents to, as far as that particular mineral right is concerned, the next steps are that you prepare a gazette notice. Okay? And that's what you are seeing. And then you put it in the newspapers of wide circulation. You serve it on the paramount chief. You serve it on the local chief of the area. We serve the assembly and then post it at various places. You also serve, these days we also include the regional minister and co and the DC. Now, what is the essence of the whole thing? Is to just tell the general public or bring to attention of everybody that this person is applying for a mineral right. And for that matter, we are prepared to receive comments on the same. So essentially, that's what it means. And then public must react. And you don't need to come from an area to oppose a mining operation, because remember, the resources are held by Ghanaians. There are a few things I want to draw your attention to.
Yes.
As far as the local content issue is concerned. Randy, I want us to look at, so you have in your hand a very comprehensive report of 2022. 2023 will be ready in about 2 or 3 months' time. But this is a summary for the purposes of the discussion. I will want you to look at.
So this for 13 companies.
This is just for 13 companies. So let's look at 38. Then I can allow you to ask a few questions.
Page 38.
Yes, page 38. I want to bring a few things to your attention.
Right.
So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a summary at least about 5 bullets there. So this is a kind of work we do, extensive coverage. So if you look at bullet 3, that is the amount of money that was spent, roughly about 1.9 billion. This is 2022 report by 13 operations. Not everybody, just 13 operations. I'm just giving you a summary. And this is 29 items. So you see, they spent 1.6 in 2021, and then it went to roughly 1.9 in 2022 on 29 items. So even something should be going through your head. If we are now doing, we did 41 in 2020, we did 50 items in 2023. And in a matter of months or so, we'll do a review now for 2024. If 29 items by 13 operations, that 13 operations, this is just a summary, gave us nearly 1.9 billion. You can imagine how the report will look like for 2023 for 50 items. Then that is it. But then what should be of interest to you is bullet 2. You see, so what it's saying simply is that for so that's the kind of thing we do. For every $100 worth of minerals produced and sold, that is the amount of money they spend on local procurement. So we've rated the companies there. So for example, Ghana Manganese, for every $100 they spend, the 66% goes into local procurement. Why? Because they spend so much on haulage.
Okay.
Yes, and haulage.
Because I was going to ask what accounts for a disparity.
Yes, so it's restricted to Ghanaians. So then when the refinery starts, you can understand. So I've given a few figures.
When the refinery starts, the haulage will reduce.
No, there will still be haulage from the mine site to the refinery.
Okay. But it will not be same as
Yes,
currently.
it will not be same as that. Yeah. So within 2 years, those who are doing haulage will have to strategize. You know, so of course the trucks can also be used for other things. So yes. It's interesting. And then look at bullet 4.
More money, 912 million.
So 50. Yes. So 29 items as at 2022. As I said, we are now doing 50 as at 2023. So roughly about $1 billion was spent on contract mining in 2022. And then
fuel supply.
Yes, so fuel is
$436 million.
$436 million. Now let me explain those big four. Randy, $436 million. It means that just 13 operations spent $436 million to just buy fuel for their operations. Okay, the various types of fuels, etc. This is fuel, not lubricant. The lubricants are used for the machines and things. This is just fuel. Okay, put it in their trucks, move around, and all those things. And before 2022, in 2020, it was free for all. What it meant was that the likes of Total, Vivo, they've never forgiven me anyway. And then the other foreign companies were supplying fuel. So you see, this is what we've been doing to ourselves all these years. So if 100 years, we are now about to refine manganese ore. You see it here, nothing sophisticated about setting up fuel stations at the mine site and then supplying fuel to the mines because of their location. And all these years, we allow foreigners to come and do that. So if you don't have the technology, if you don't build the machinery and all those sophisticated underground installations, you need a foreigner to also come and set up and supply fuel to your mine. Something must be wrong. So we stopped it in 2020. It means that $436 million from 13 operations in 2022 went into the pocket of Ghanaians.
Right.
So Randy, what am I telling you? The money stayed here. You see, people don't know this until they hear me. What they are interested in is royalties. And that's why I keep saying that. And I love the position of the president when we met him to discuss the lithium. He says, everything must not necessarily go to the state. What about the ordinary Ghanaian there? Do you understand that? So, Goy, is it state-owned? They participated, they have some of the contracts. And then there's several other Ghanaians who registered with us to provide and supply fuel to the mine. So $436 million from the expenditure of mining companies stayed in Ghana, 13 operations 2022. Now, the figure I gave you on explosives was 2021. So you can see almost $150 million was spent on explosives. Randy, explosives, you can't do mining without explosives. It's the DNA of mining. Other than that, how do you break up the rocks? It's all explosives. The figure is going to go up. And I'm proud that Ghanaians have entered into the space now. So you take Ghana Bauxite, which is now 100% owned state and Ghanaian mine, and Ghana Manganese, two big projects. It's a Ghanaian who ran the entire explosive operations. You didn't see this. In fact, it was just last year that a Ghanaian won this contract. So even 2 years ago, there were other foreign companies that were doing it. So when I tell you that 10 years on, we've come very far, this is what I mean. So Ghanaians are doing it. So you see, this person who is running the explosives for Ghana Manganese, okay? And he set up there doing everything and hire all the people, they're providing that service of Ghana Bauxite. You understand that? Hitherto, this would have gone to a foreign company. Let's say Solar Nitro.
It's a big step.
It's a big issue.
It's a big step.
It's a big issue
taken by the Minerals Commission.
So maybe before you comment, so it tells you that when Cardinal commissions this year, that's about 360,000 ounce a year project. Okay, huge underground potential. For the next 25 years, we are in for a long haul. Azuma will start construction this quarter. The two, if you add it, 350, 150, that's 500,000 ounces. Price of gold has been doing over 2,000 since this year. Then a half an off by Newmont, 300. So already within 2 years, we're going to add close to about 1 million ounces of gold. So we are already heading to 5 million. So I'm saying that a half an off, which is 30 kilometers north of Ahafo South, they use explosives. Okay? Cardinal will use explosives. These are big new mines. A half an off will use explosives. And then Azuma will use explosives, lithium will use explosives. So I could confidently say that we're going to see $300-400 million budget for explosives this year. So a time will come where even explosives alone can rival total government receipts. For now, receipts from contract mining is equivalent to the total receipts for Ghana, and now contract mining open fees for Ghanaians. So lithium, Ahafo North, Azuma, and Cardinal. You see these big four. Foreigners cannot do it. That's how far we've come, Randy.
All right. So that's great. But, you know, I was looking through the thing, and when they got to the issue of fuel, I was a bit sad.
Why?
Okay. I was sad because, you know, he kept making the point, oh, the 400 and something, all this money stayed here.
It will stay here.
Only for you to find out that we do not produce any of these finished products. And so although Ghanaian companies are supplying it, they would buy them from outside. So majority, this has nothing to do with the Minerals Commission.
Yes.
You have done your part,
by
which is what must be done.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is that you don't control the value chain. You don't determine what is produced here. And I'm saying this because this is something that we have the capacity, yet. So if we're using as much as close to $500 million worth of finished products, yet not a liter is produced in this country. So you're doing your bit. Ghanaians are running these companies, but it's 400 and something million.
Imported products.
Yes.
So Randy, two things. I'm not holding brief. So take Nigeria, a country that does what? A little over 1 million barrels a day. They import everything. And is it there are 3 or 4 refineries? Kaduna, Warri, and Co. never work. The one at Port Harcourt. We know the Nigerian situation, so we will not take lectures on that. So you saw the conscious effort by Dangote to do that. So yes, that is up to Petroleum Commission, GNPC to also fashion out how we can do that. But at least we'll have been worse off.
Of course.
So you don't import, you don't do the products here, then even the derivatives, I don't know if I'm permitted to use the word, that will even be sold to the mining companies that is not so sophisticated. That one you should allow foreigners. So that is it. And very soon we'll even change the way the explosive thing should be done. That is that. So running a lot.
But this is great. What's grinding media? What is it?
They use it in the gold process.
When I saw media, then
not media as newspapers or whatever.
Grinding media.
Yes, it's one of the items on the list. And
$126 million.
Yes, so Randy, if you ask me, what we've not done very well, in spite of the conscious attempts or effort to increase the items and the minings, which has helped, kept the billions here. The area we've not done so well is the manufacturing of the inputs here. And I want to take you to some of the challenges we have enumerated there, so you understand. When we take you through it, then you can understand where the problems are coming from. So just give me 2 seconds.
Right.
I'll show you those places. So let's go to page 30.
Yes.
So Randy,
challenges of local content.
I want to see, you understand? So for instance, the explosives, we have the high explosives, the detonators and co, which we used to bring from like Ukraine and other countries. Then the one that we can easily do here, where you mix diesel and then those stuff to get the AMFO. Now on site now, we no longer kind of transport them. But you see, we have not achieved 100% true local content, which I will have laughed, because I said in my introductory or summary that 33% of the expenditures as a 2022 report, goes to local content. But many of the items that the companies also use are not manufactured here, so they have to import. So we are trying to design our strategies and policies in such a way we have to encourage people to produce them. Some of these things will take time. I said, look, if it has taken us over 100 years to get manganese refined ore body, yes. But then there are a few things that, as Ghanaians too, some of the mining companies have been complaining. A lot has been done in that respect, but you should understand there are problems too. So, relatively high interest rates charged by commercial banks is a disincentive. Yes. Okay. Yes. You struggle to do business with the kind of interest rate that we have in this country.
Because you are also pushing for them to do their business with the banks.
Yes.
And yet, this is also a hindrance or an impediment.
So on our side, let me tell you what the kind of thing we've been doing to assist Ghanaians. So yesterday, a Ghanaian had won a contract in Newmont for some products. He's a new young boy. He just walked into my office. When we registered him, he was supposed to pay us the money for the registration. He says he's a young guy. He has not got the money. So if we don't allow him to go and work, he will lose the contract. So I started this about at least when I became CEO. So what I told him was that, how much do you have on you? He says, oh, I can only pay 3,000. I said, go to accounts, go and pay it. We'll send an email to the mining company and then get a registration done for you so that you go and start work. When they give you your first mobilization, come and pay the rest. And I asked him again, when can you finish paying the rest? He gave it to me, and then I asked him to bring a letter this morning. I see he's WhatsApping me his count. But you see, that is the kind of thing we need to do. If we are insisted that pay the full registration fee, he will have lost the contract. Okay? And he was practically weeping because he didn't believe that he could get that kind of services. We don't do that to foreign companies. Okay? So again, a Chinese company walked into my office and he wanted a payment plan for his fees. I just threw him out. But if he was a Ghanaian, I would do that. So this guy, hopefully in about 6 months, he'll be able to pay his full registration. He's a happy man. By virtue of the fact that he's gotten that job at Newmont, okay, to provide that service, he has a CV now. So when the same advert is done by Cardinal, Ahafo Azuma, he has a CV to apply for that one. That is the kind of thing we need to be doing as a nation. Support our own. Okay? Yes, because if I had insisted he should pay the 10,000, that's a fee for the registration, he didn't have it. He's a young guy. How he got a contract, I asked him, so he just tried using his CV and things, and they gave it to him. The good thing was that he also comes from a community, so I believe that was a plus. So on our own small way, we're trying to, I don't want to say bend the rules, but to be flexible with the Ghanaians, to also pull them through. Other than that, the next thing is that Newmont to come back and say he's taking the contract off. You should permit me to allow a foreigner to.
Can we deal with the challenges fully next week?
Yes, we can.
Because
do that with
they're quite a lot.
Yes,
yeah.
And then people can hear us. But to summarize, Randy, it's been a long journey.
Right.
$148 million, 8 items, to 29 items as a 2022 assessment, nearly 2 billion. Now we are talking about 50 items. I'm just about looking at the review for 2024.
You'll take it to how many?
Oh, we'll tweak it a little. I've not finished, but I don't want to say a few things. Why I want you to leave with you this. Maybe 20 years' time, as a young lawyer then at commission, perhaps we didn't see this coming. But I'm so proud that now a Ghanaian can get a contract to set up at Ghana Manganese, to set up at Ghana Bauxite, 2 big operations, and provide everything that the company requires for explosive services, supplying it, importing it, setting up, you know, because you see, this is what happens at the mine. The mining companies themselves have their full-time workers. So if you ask Iduaprim now, they will tell you their full-time workers are about 734. That one I remember very well because I always boast about that. Everybody at the mine is Ghanaian. So when, let's say, Iduaprim gives contract mining, maybe for contract mining, or let's say gives out a contract for, let's say, supply of fuel, or maybe even explosives, and let's say Randy Mining Company or Enterprise wins it, you come also with your what? Workers to set up. So in our statistics, in our data, let's say if you take company A, you see full-time employees, maybe 2,000, and they break it down, gender, because that also helps us to shape policy. Male, female, junior staff, senior staff, technical staff, this. And then you see contractors, maybe 3,000. So if you put it together, that particular mining operation alone is supporting about 5,000 workers. Do you understand that? One other thing we also need to celebrate before I draw the curtain is the medical facilities. It's been going very well now. I see a lot of doctors, and the beauty is that you see 4 or 5 doctors coming up, they set up a company, and then they are applying for contracts at Cardinal, Azuma, Ahafo North and Co. to provide medical services. So they are all happy. Yes, but what we need to deal with is the ecological nightmare with Galamsey.
Okay.
That is something we need to work as a nation, and I want to take this opportunity, if you allow me 1 more second, to repeat that let us take the politics out of Galamsey. Let us deal with the problem the way we know it. When you go and stand somewhere and say, oh, for me, when I come out, let somebody work. Hey, Randy, I'll tell you that's what you see, this is how the miners think. If you go and tell the small scale miner that, oh, I'll allow you to work when I come or when I get the opportunity, I'm being real. what has gotten into his head is that, oh, if this happens for us, you see, you are oblivious of the fact that where he's working perhaps is an ecologically sensitive area. He might have been working in the forest, the water body, or an area where ordinarily, if you look at the mining laws and regulations, MINCOM will not have regulated. So then you get a power, for instance. Then he's expecting that you allow him to work. So that a person is referred to, or those group of persons are referred to Minerals Commission. And the Minerals Commission will say, you can't work here. Then it leads to a whole ball game together. So I want us, if we want to do politics with small scale, we should focus on the policies, the strategies. How do we improve it? How do we stop the use of mercury? If you listen to Professor Sampeni Osei, he's a pathologist at Confanoche.
This is my friend.
Yes, Randy. It's scary. He scares me. I'm not able to sleep. Whilst we are celebrating, is it Capo Verde or Guinea-Bissau, one of them, that the last 3 years they've not had malaria, and for that matter, they are malaria-free. What is frightening is that if Professor Sampeni says anything to go by, what he's seeing, the research he's doing, it means that very soon, our budget for Ministry of Health, and Randy, listen carefully, this is Ghana. I'm not here for NDC MPP politics. I'm talking about what, as a nation, we should work collectively together. What it simply means is that our budget for kidney and liver issues will now far outweigh that of malaria. And then we realize that perhaps every health post hospital perhaps must have a dialysis. So the debate as to how to deal with the Galamsey issue should be focused on how we can. And I think we're also doing our part very well. The more mercury-free machine we give, the less they use mercury. And for that matter, we are reducing the incidence of mercury, the so-called heavy metals Professor Sampeni is talking about. So I will love that when the campaign sides, all sides, I know the small scale thing will be a major campaign issue. We should focus on the issues, the strategy, because you're a journalist, and how I prefer you stop people who come here from doing politics with Galamsey. Let us focus on the strategies. How do we stop the use of mercury? How do we put money in what I've always been championing, geological investigation, so that in the long to medium term, so 100 years, you couldn't refine manganese ore. Okay? Let's be patient and put more money on geological survey. For now, the short term, the 13 regions where they are doing illegal mining, what do we do? Government is doing a lot. That's where the debate is. Like, you should be critiquing the measures we put in place, but not to say things that in reality it cannot happen. Because Randy, maybe the last word, the last thing we should do in this country is to say that nobody should do small scale mining in this country. Forget it. And I'll dare anybody to tell me that we should do it. But I'm the first person to concede the anger in you, the anger in Ghanaians, the kind of thing we see on television that is being displayed. How we should tackle that should be the focus of our debate.
Well, it'll be difficult to take out the politics when
because
the issue of complicity.
Randy, let me stop you there.
Yes.
You see, there are things we can do with politics.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes.
You know, US, etc. I mean, Trump. You heard Nikki Haley saying that, or is it there's this guy who stopped his presidential ambition recently. He said he's pulling out, but he says, "Oh, Trump should not be president." That kind of thing. I mean, those kind of politics should be allowed. But I'm saying, don't do politics with an issue that the answers you and I know, and then perhaps the criticism should be, we should double our efforts, we should do more. But I'll be surprised if you still think we should do politics.
No, I'm not saying that. The point I'm making to you is that if you watch documentaries like the ones that are made by Seth Kwame Boateng of Multimedia,
Yes. If you watch his documentary.
Yes.
Because I spent almost an hour listening to him over this weekend. I even called my wife to watch.
Yes.
Professor Sampeni keep talking. I said, wow, this is scary. What is Sampeni saying? Too much heavy metals, which is toxic to our body. We're saying birth defect. He say that's what he's saying. He's saying increase in liver conditions and kidney conditions. So effectively, that documentary, if you listen to Sampeni, what is the message here? Heavy metals is getting into our water body and all those.
That's just his latest.
Hang on. So what is causing that?
Yes.
Use of mercury.
Yes.
So then the argument, or the focal point of the politics, if I still want to allow it, should be, what do we do to take away the use of heavy mercury? And one of the solutions is this mercury-free machine we are supplying.
So the point I'm making to you, is
understand?
that
That should be the focus.
To just his last work. But if you take into cognizance all of Seth's work, you would see what I'm driving at. The complicity of the politician at all levels.
Not just a politician.
Yeah, so I'm just because we're talking about politics.
Randy, if you like, you see, I'm a lawyer.
Yes.
So when I'm speaking, I'm cautious of my language because of issues of defamation and things.
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
If I've mentioned it on this platform before or whatever, I want you to understand this, and if you didn't know, I'm telling you today. All kinds of people are involved in illegal mining.
Yes.
Let's understand that first.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All kinds of people.
Yes.
Chiefs are involved.
Yes.
Deeply.
Yes.
And chiefs are also fighting it.
Yes.
Some chiefs, perfect.
True.
Okay? I hear one is waiting for me now, bringing a complaint. Chiefs are involved. Okay? Political actors are involved. A whole community is involved. Okay? So we cannot cherry pick.
No, so
I am not going to sit here and mention it because if I want to mention him, then means that I have to say that like this cap is white.
The point I'm making to you is that
so
we might have everybody involved, but our levels of responsibility differ.
Yes.
On the basis of the powers, influence, and authority that the state has entrusted in our hands. That is why the issue of politics becomes critical and central to this issue. And I will tell you something, which I have said many times. Anytime we are confronted with a problem, and we seem not to have a solution to the problem, those who are supposed to find the solution are the problem. Anytime we are confronted with a problem, and we seem not to find a solution to the problem, those who are expected to provide a solution are the problem. So with that,
Randy,
yes.
Maybe let me have the last word.
Please do.
If you ask me, our attitude is also part of the problem.
Yes.
So people build at Ramsar sites.
Yes.
I stand to be corrected because
Yes.
I checked with the Executive Secretary of Lands Commission, the previous one.
Yes.
Why? Because I was going to register a land for my auntie in the Wager area. And then the advice I got when I asked him was, I said, oh, there's an executive instrument over that area. So it's government land. When I asked him, what is it about? He said, oh, it was purposely reserved as part of the Wager Dam that supply water to, is it Accra West or something of that nature? Millions of people, is it 5-6 million? And what it simply meant is that government is to keep that place clear. When there's a spillage, the thing moves. I don't know whether that's a Bechile and all those areas. Randy, go and pass there. People have built to the edge of the dam.
Yes.
Remember the hard-working Greater Accra Regional Minister?
Yes.
Started bringing buildings down in Sakumo or Ramsar site. What were we hearing? Oh, he should stop. Oh, why people are spending money to do all these things? You understand that?
Yes.
You cannot develop a nation that way.
You know what I can tell you,
Okay.
is that
And then my last point, on this Galamsey issue, and that's why I'm still pleading that I'm prepared to debate the policies, the rightness, or whether we are doing well or we are not doing well with you, rather than politics. Randy, I said in this studio when small scale was lawfully permitted in 1989 that since 1989, every year, right from the Venerable Kofi Ansah, Ewanya Miche, Benai, and Chibo Seyaku, and all the CEOs that have come through Minerals Commission, Kabashi Gama will say, Mene, for 3 decades, minister upon minister, we keep telling them we need money for geological survey. Mokomoko to it because they will tell you this is an activity that has 5% chance of success. They have to those days. They said they have to deal with guinea worm. We need to construct schools. So why should I give you $10 million when I need to build schools? I need to provide roads. So if I look at my scale of preference or whatever, I want to do that. You should wait. So again, an activity that you saw in Asante, Eastern, Central, Western, and Upper East. Barely 100,000 people. Now, because of 30 years or 3 decades of inaction and our attitude towards the kind of recommendations we make, government institutions make, and nobody took it seriously, the activity has spread from 5 regions to 13 regions. Save Greater Accra, Oti and Volta, where I come from, because I know that for sure. And even then, the reports are showing exciting presence of gold in Oti. So it's a matter of time, the figure will go to 14 regions. And now you have 3 million people being dependent on this activity. You go to Takwa, every city that circulates in Takwa comes from small scale mining. Anything that is sold at Takwa CBD and all those things. And you have this 10% of your population involved in 13 regions. You want to do politics with it and behave as if you can stop it overnight. That is not like a failure or throwing up my arms in air. That is not to say that I am not, as head of the regulatory body, oblivious of what we have all agreed that is an ecological, genocide. But you cannot, in your attempt to address one issue, stop it. No government, and I want to repeat, can just get up and say something that for 30 years we didn't do anything concrete about is something you can dismantle. But then the question is, when anytime the names of politicians, political actors and co come up, when you ask people, like the Chief Justice has been saying, people say all kinds of things about judges, okay? I mean, their analysis and things are hardcore evidence, so maybe they acted. But then, if they go and write something about, let's say, Justice IEC, let's say me, if I become a judge one day, that I've taken bribe, I've done this, okay? Sometimes it's anonymous. And then the Chief Justice will say, bring evidence, come and testify. They don't show up. Okay? They don't show up. Okay? The ones that are before the various institutions that are handling them, I'm sure they are going through their processes. But then if somebody comes and says that Randy is involved in illegal mining as maybe somewhere, okay? When this thing comes to the attention of maybe OSP, police, whatever, when you call that person who said that, bring evidence, sometimes they don't show up.
Well, that could be the case.
So sometimes we tend to make sweeping statements. I'm not defending anything
well,
here.
It's not.
But I'm saying
it's not sweeping.
When you say something,
why,
you see, like
that's
you,
why I
but like you
yes.
said, there are political actors involved.
Yes,
we've heard, we know. But then, if they ask you, Randy, can you present politician
there's more than enough evidence on the work of journalists. I referred you to one. There are several, Mr. Isi. Several. And the truth of the matter is that we are such an insincere people. We are such a dishonest people.
That is why that's why I keep talking about this Ramsar site.
Yes, because the Ramsar site you're talking about, it will not occur in another jurisdiction. There's a reason why we have attitudinal problems, and yet we have decided to set up a Minerals Commission and to make you the CEO. You, as CEO of Minerals Commission, cannot come and open the Book of Lamentations and tell us that.
I will never do that.
I am unable to do my work because of the attitude of Ghanaians. We knew, or we are fully aware of the problem we have, that we have an attitudinal problem. That is why we have set up a regulatory body and given the regulatory body all the powers, the laws or whatever. It could be insufficient. But every time you ask for maybe amendment, support, and all those things. But I'm saying that there's a reason why we set up bodies like the Minerals Commission. So we cannot have a situation,
which is actually a creature of the Constitution.
Yeah, so we cannot have a situation where we create all of this. There is leadership. We vote to appoint people to positions. We give them powers and all that. And they'll turn around and open the book of Lamentations and say, oh, it's everybody. We should all come together. We should all do this. That's not how those jurisdictions have developed. You cannot say that we have agencies responsible for something and then today people have built up to the bank of Ramsey sites. And we say it's okay. People earn their salaries every day. They keep their appointments. Those institutions exist. We spend money on them. Then what's the point? We might as well then disband everything and have a free for all. And know that, look, we have attitudes. Let's all go and change our attitudes and change our country.
We cannot allow that.
Yes.
We cannot
so we
allow
can't create these institutions that are supposed to deal with these things and appoint people who believe that they can do it and then turn around and say that, oh, well, there's very little that can be done. We can't do that.
So, Randy, I hear you. So, for example, Martin Esi, I want to see when the political, what do you call it, campaign starts. I want to see maybe the various parties saying that, oh, geological survey will give you $50 million for geological investigation.
Fair point.
That's the kind of thing I want to hear.
Fair point.
I want to see that I will take $50 million to Parliament, you bring in more gold catches. So that Professor Sampenio will not be seeing what he's talking about.
All right.
That is the kind of thing I want to hear. So when I say we shouldn't do politics, that's what I mean. I want to see that everybody will say, oh, for us, we have $100 million for geological investigation. We will make a conscious and we'll put it in the budget. We will give $100 million to bring gold catcher. You understand that? That's the kind of thing I want to hear.
All right. So it's what you've said is nice, is good, is inclusive. I'm sure you hear that. But to the extent that things exist, people would also speak to those issues and would have to deal with them.
Then we are doing injustice to ourselves.
No, we shouldn't play ostrich.
We should call a spade, not a digging instrument.
That's exactly the point I'm making.
We should call it that.
That's exactly the point I'm making because you see, people live in communities and in societies.
So Randy, let me tell you something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you bring, and then when we say this collective authority, I want you to appreciate it and not just pull it. I'm not saying that maybe the institutions or government should not lead.
Yes.
But then, Randy, when you bring an excavator today, to Rara, okay, the people in Rara, by close of the day, they will know whether that excavator is for a construction of the Jessica Rara Road or to do other government project. But when you take that excavator and enter the bush, there is no way me as a chief, Continue of Rara, I will not get a call today. That Nana, who said excavator be a bush or mission hall, and you be a then a cosum, it will not take even hours for you to get that call. So then the question I also ask myself is that, what is the chief doing? Okay, you saw recently, not just, you see, if it's just one off incident, I will appreciate your concern. There are several reported cases of chiefs being arrested for doing galamsey. A chief goes to police station to go and bail a Chinese.
Yes.
I mean, what has this got to do with government?
Yes.
You understand me? Government also has a role to play. I'm not shying away from it.
Yes.
Mincom also has a role to play.
There are chiefs who have complained about political actors,
but I've also told you,
and nothing has been done about it.
But I've also told you, some of the greatest fighters of the Galamsey phenomenon is a chief. There's an old soldier who is a chief in one of the Western region areas. You dare not.
You see, I sit in Accra.
My only worry is that I want us to look at the. You see, let's look at what is causing the problem. Whether the solutions are good enough or we are not doing too well. But don't color it with politics.
It's not that's the point. It's not a coloration of politics. If there is politics involved, if politics is preventing the success of the fight, we should be able to call it out.
Yes. So Randy, now you are.
But that is where people go and hide and they say, "Oh, don't politicize it. Don't politicize it."
No, hang on. Now you are making sense to me in a way, with all due respect. So, for example, you should be able to tell me that, oh, if you go to this community, some people have been arrested and this particular political actor stopped it, or he's the one even providing the excavator. You see, because then I ask my question, or I ask this question. You see these boys who go into the pit.
All right, let's continue.
We'll talk more about it because definitely
we have to go. But nobody, if we decide to dodge the question of political or partisan complicity,
name and shame.
Political or partisan complicity in this issue, we will not get anywhere.
Yes.
When we try to hide under, or don't politicize it, and it is just to create refuge for people who are in the political class who are taking advantage of it to get involved in these things. We won't get anywhere, to be honest with you. And I'm saying that there is enough evidence to show publicly. I have shown many videos where you have the issue of people who are in politics or political actors involved in this thing, who have been called out either by chiefs or citizens and all that. We know. Yes. We can't pretend. I hope you understand. We can't pretend. And the very reason why action has not been taken against these people, concrete action, is because of who they are and what they do.
So then the question
is, if we cannot pretend that that is also not one of the reasons why we are unable to make the kind of strides that we should be making at this point.
No, so Randy, then the question is, you have a platform like this.
Yes.
People listen to us a lot.
Yes.
I mean, people, like you've told me that some people say when it's time for our mining program, they don't do other things. But there's a chief who tells me that even he doesn't put meetings on Thursday because he has to listen to us on morning and then also listen to Asempa, because I also have Asempa on Thursdays. Randy, so then if you say person A has been involved or there is this issue about him, what also stops you persistently from saying that in spite of all these damning allegations, so to speak, nothing is being done?
I've done that severally, and I'm even doing it today. I've done it severally, and I'm doing it today. And the fact that I even show all those videos and talk about them is how far I can go.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
We'll discuss
okay,
more.
So we've taken a lot of the soccer folks time, Metro Sports. Of course.
No, it's important.
The big story
because we don't
Ghana,
want. It's not that we're taking the soccer folks talk. We don't want anybody to go and dig the sports stadium. so we need to discuss this matter. That's on a lighter note.
All right. So up next, Metro Sports. Next week we'll continue. Next week Thursday we'll continue with our conversation with the CEO of the Minerals Commission.